conquering our fears.
Oh, I like that. Cheers. Well, Sebastian, welcome. Glad to have you on. So, I think you have a story for me about where you were born first.
I do indeed, yeah.
Okay.
I know this is a traveling podcast, and so I figured, why not start with my first travels, right?
Sure. The very first one. Yeah. All right, going back to the very beginning.
It all started up here in the northwest part of Germany, really close to the Netherlands, in a small town called Aurich in East Frisia, also Friesland in German.
Okay.
And I lived there because my mom is German, dad's American, and my mom wanted me to get some German roots before starting my life over in the States. So I was there until I was almost 4, and then I turned 4 on our flight to the States.
Really?
So
wow.
Nice.
That's super cool. So can you speak German at all?
I can speak it about as well as a 4-year-old.
That's okay.
So, I mean,
that's okay.
It gets by, right?
You can get by for sure.
Exactly.
With all your English and your broken German.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. All the Germans, pretty much every German I've met can speak English.
Yeah.
And then they try to get you to speak German, and they're just disappointed. And they're just
Yeah.
all right, I'll speak English with you.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah. I don't even try to learn another language anymore. Like I tried for a minute, but I just found out English can get me anywhere I need to go. Mm-hmm. Anywhere, no matter where I'm at, I'm like, English has got me enough. Like, through it. And if not, I just point at the numbers, and that's good enough too.
Good point. Yeah, everyone knows numbers, thankfully.
Everyone knows numbers. I was really concerned about that going to like Asian countries.
Good point.
I was like, wait, do they have the same numbers? And because at first you don't know, but they do. Just so everyone knows they have the same numbers.
Speaking of everyone knowing, fun fact: until we were using the numbers we use today, we were using Roman numerals. And do you know what the numbers we use today are called?
No, I don't.
They're Arabic numerals.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What?
Literally Arabic. Yeah, they're the ones who invented the numbers we have today.
For like the whole world.
Yep.
Arabic. Wow.
Sure enough, yeah. Algebra and arithmetic. This part you can't put me on. I don't remember for sure. But I'm pretty sure algebra and arithmetic in general were invented Arabic speaking countries. But definitely numbers. Definitely numbers.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, so anyway, I don't know how we got on this tangent. Welcome to the first of a million.
Could be a lot of tangents, yeah.
Started here in Germany, and then age of 4 went over here to Washington, D.C., where I was from the age of 4 all the way until age 16. I was living in D.C., just like being a kid in a place meant for adults. Like, it was fun, you know, I loved the zoo, I loved the museums and stuff, but like, I didn't really... Everyone's like, oh, I love going to DC. It's so fun. You can do this, go there, go there. I was like 16. I couldn't drive. Couldn't do this. So, but yeah, then when I was 16, I visited Libby, Montana, northwest corner of the state. I know. Unfortunately, asbestos put them on the map, but they're worth a lot more than that. I visited Libby because my brother-in-law spent summers there as a kid because his grandfather's from there, and fell in love with the place and wanted to start a family there when he got done with the army.
Nice.
So when I visited there when my sister was pregnant, I was like, what is this place? Like, places like Montana exist? This is actually a thing? Like, it's on National Geographic? And so I was the youngest of my family, and so I was just living, me and my mom, back in D.C., and I said, hey, Mom, can we move to Montana? And it took a bit of convincing from me and my sister and brother-in-law, but she agreed, and we moved to Montana when I was 16. So awesome. And I spent my junior and senior there at Libby High School. I had Catholic schooling like my whole life until then, and so quite honestly, I didn't learn too much more after age 16 as far as book smarts go, but I learned plenty of like street smarts and nature smarts in Libby, so I'll consider that a win. And after that, I spent like a year or so in Libby at the community college there, and decided I want to go somewhere else. And generally, from Libby, you go to Missoula because it's pretty close. And then I visited Bozeman one winter, and I saw how amazing it is out here, how like open it feels, and just the sweeping views of mountain ranges in every direction. And I just was like, I have to go here. So 2010, came to MSU. Terrible student. Terrible.
That's okay. No, that's all right. I'm sure you were a nature student.
I wish. This is actually a new development.
We'll
get to that.
We'll get to that later.
No,
okay.
yeah, I was a very different person back then. In fact, when I first came to MSU, I was like 320 pounds.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
Yeah,
that is something. Okay, how did that? What was that journey like?
Yeah, that was that's still going. It's never ending, right?
Right.
But like, so yeah, I was really just like focused on video games and partying back in college at MSU.
Yeah.
It was fun, not great for me, but when you're a kid, you can survive anything. So I was like, 19, 20. I mean, sober partying until 21, and then I was partying, adult beverages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then I was forced to take some time off of school because I couldn't get approved for student aid because I was such a bad student, and ended up needing to move to, not needing, but I ended up moving to Idaho where my friend was, so that I could just figure some things out.
Yeah.
Lived there for like 8 months, and it was the reality check I needed to like get into real life and see how much everywhere else sucks more than Bozeman, because Bozeman's like the coolest place I've ever been.
That's true.
And so I decided to come back to Bozeman. I only stayed in Idaho for like 8 months, and then I came back to Bozeman, went back to MSU, got a private bank loan, which was like the start of my true responsibility building.
Okay.
Because I got a private bank loan, so I was, committed to actually applying myself in school, because it was my own money.
Okay, so the bank loan was for college.
It was for college.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I got re-enrolled, and then I got my grades up, so they let me get student aid again, and then I just like worked a ton, went to school a ton, and then graduated. And meanwhile, I was also focusing on my health finally, and decided to learn how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a great place to learn how to ride a bicycle in DC.
Mm-hmm.
It was just me and my mom. Like I said, she doesn't ride bikes, and there's no great place to go to learn, especially alone. So
I've heard that.
Yeah,
that's pretty hood in DC.
Well, it can be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the insanely wealthy parts. There's the hood,
of course,
and then there's like the medium,
like old money too with the name.
Yeah, precisely, and of course politicians, and
of course,
all that stuff. We were thankfully in a pretty nice part of DC, but still, traffic everywhere. And all that stuff. So. Learn how to ride a bike in college, and then
crazy long time to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah, I know,
but at least now you know how to ride a bike.
Straight up,
That's pretty cool.
It's a great hobby by now. I love riding bikes, but
riding bikes is a super good time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do any mountain biking or just like road biking?
I've tried mountain biking plenty of times.
Yeah,
it's fun until I wreck.
You just take a header?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Very first wreck I had, I knocked my contact out of my head, and I was like, okay, I gotta walk my bike the rest of the way down. Yeah. It's that's actually we'll get to that soon.
We got all the time in the world.
Good. This will be the easiest interview ever because I can ramble forever.
Perfect, man.
So I'm out riding bikes with my friends, and noticing I'm getting in better shape, and then I go to the gym every now and then to just get some exercises in, and I dropped down actually quite a bit to I guess I actually around 100 pounds. I dropped to 220.
Yeah.
From there, graduated college, and during my senior year, I was like, okay, well, it looks like I'm actually going to do this thing now. Cool, I'm going to graduate. Like, what do I do after this?
Yeah.
And I was talking with my other sister, who is actually still back in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me, well, what do you want to do? I said, God, I have no idea. I want to help people, and I like traveling.
Yeah, nice.
And she's like, dude, join the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
And I said, light bulb.
Of
Thank
course.
you. That's a perfect suggestion. So I applied to Peace Corps, and that is one hell of a process, let me tell you.
I know. I was looking into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no thanks. Way too many applications.
That's insane how long it took.
Yeah.
And combine that with, finishing all your senior papers and everything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brutal. But got it done and got accepted, and I chose send me wherever needs me.
Really?
And so,
you didn't choose a place?
Nope. And
Okay.
they said, I'll do whatever you need or whatever it is. And so they said, all right, you're going to Zambia, and you're going to teach villagers how to run sustainable fish ponds.
You lucked out. You lucked out.
Possibly.
I think you did.
I don't regret any bit of my decision.
I think you made a really good choice because I've heard some horror stories of
really?
where the people from the Peace Corps got sent. And they're like, that was not a good experience. So I need to hear about this.
Okay.
How this
I'm here for
was.
it. Yeah, so to recap so far, we've gone from here to here to here, and now we are here in this interestingly shaped country known as Zambia.
Okay.
And how Peace Corps works is for the first 3 months of your service, you're in the capital, or at least near the capital, to get your training, which is where you learn about the language, and you learn about the culture, and you learn about the technical skills to run your project. So in this case, the project was fish farming.
Right.
Because Peace Corps has 3 main goals: to teach people of other countries about Americans, U.S. Americans, to teach U.S. Americans about people of another country, and to establish a trained workforce in a developing nation.
Right.
In no particular order.
Yeah.
And so, after our 3 months of training, that's when you get sent to your individual site anywhere in the country. They determine it for you. But, I was chosen to get sent to Northwest Zambia, which it's strange how the directions work because Northwest could maybe be here, but
that's a good point.
Yeah, right. But yeah, up here in this little pinky in Ikalenge district of Northwestern Province, Zambia, is where I spent my 2 years after my 3 months of training.
It's a long time.
Certainly was.
Whoa.
It's it didn't feel like long months, but they definitely felt like long days.
Yeah, I bet.
Because during the whole 2 years, you're in a mud hut, grass roof, no power, no water. You're just in a hut. You're basically glamping for 2 years.
Wow.
Which was amazing, don't get me wrong. It was a very powerful experience, and I learned a ton. The coolest thing about it was the connections I got to make with these villagers that, on the surface, it seems like you have absolutely nothing in common with them, But, I mean, at the root of it, there are really only so many things that differentiate people, especially when it's more than skin deep. So, everyone has their own cultures, their own traditions, but everyone loves to eat food.
That's a
everyone loves to sing and dance. There are so many things you can relate on, and we're all also trying to find a way to fill our day. So one of the things I did in Zambia was, aside from our main project of fish farming, we were always encouraged to run as many side projects as we could. So I started a chess club in my village, which only one of the villagers in the whole village had actually played chess before. And so that was really fun to help just teach so many people how to play chess. And I at first just had one board and some pieces, and then everyone got so into it. And then I was like, all right, next time I go to the capital, I'll get some more and we'll play chess, have a little club. It's way fun.
Are you good, by the way?
I mean, I'm pretty good. I don't know. I'm no that guy. Bobby Fischer. I know Bobby Fischer.
There's a lot of them. There's Magnus, Bobby Fischer. We can play after this if you want.
Okay. Sweet. I'm in that. It'd be funny. Maybe next podcast you could do it while you're playing chess.
That's a lot to think about.
No joke. No joke. So along with that, not only did I have my day-to-day duties, we were also allowed to travel, which was great. Because Peace Corps being a federal agency, federal jobs are really good about giving you time off and making sure that there's a decent work-life balance wherever there can be. They let us take vacation time. Being a volunteer position, you don't get paid very much, so there's
Your school paid for though, right?
Say what?
Yeah, your school paid for though, right?
No.
They didn't pay for your school?
So there's there's a loan forgiveness thing. It's it's not quite a scam, but it's definitely not as easy as they make it seem. Yeah, it's not their fault. It's like this whole thing. It's anything federal, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Sure. So we got to travel, and so I definitely wanted to take advantage of that because I didn't know the next summer was going to be anywhere in that whole part of the world. So I went on lots of trips, thankfully. So from Zambia, the first vacation that I got to go out of the country for was to Namibia.
Okay.
Highly, highly recommend. One of the coolest places I've ever seen outside of Bozeman.
Why is that?
So
what's something about Namibia?
So
I'll work on that.
You gotta study this wall better, man.
I do actually. I come in here and I like pronounce names because some of them are really hard.
Yeah. Oh, I know it. I know it. Yeah. So Namibia is so special because it's a huge desert. It contains the Namib Desert, which is the oldest desert on Earth, interestingly.
Wow. Okay.
But if you notice, it's also got a huge coastline.
Yeah.
So there's so many different parts of it with different geology, ecology, biology. So on the west coast, it was amazing. You have these huge, endless white sand dunes that are rolling as far as the eye can see, and then they just dip straight into the ocean.
Oh,
it's just like, instead of a beach, you just have huge dunes.
Yeah.
So
that's
far
cool.
That's amazing.
I love that.
And a little bit more towards the center of the country, you've got Windhoek, which is the capital, which is incredibly developed. So Namibia used to be a German colony, and German colonies are notoriously advanced. So Zambia was an English colony, and it seems like the English did not seem to care as much about developing those nations, whereas Namibia certainly did. So they have like skyscrapers and very nice highways, and it's incredibly developed in the capital.
Nice.
And then there's also Etosha National Park, which is this huge nature reserve that would take you days to drive through. And I was on this trip with 9 of my great volunteer friends, and we rented 2 cars and just like drove around the whole country, and we got to drive through Etosha, and you see everything. Like, you're just driving, and have you ever played Pokemon Snap? Have you ever heard of it?
Is that like Pokemon Go?
No. So Pokemon Snap is like an old school game where you're like
taking
pictures of Pokemon.
Yeah. I didn't play it, but I know what it is. I got friends that played it.
Yeah, everyone at least has a friend who played it for sure. So just like that, you're like mobbing around all day, seeing all these amazing animals, just like taking pictures of what you can, like, and kind of like Yellowstone, you know, like you can go around like, oh, look, there's a bison, like you can do that, and like, oh, there's lions, oh, there's cheetahs, oh, there's elephants, giraffes, like everything, man.
Dang.
Except I did not get to see a rhino, unfortunately, which I'm sure is not a coincidence.
I feel like they're pretty low in population.
Unfortunately so.
Yeah.
But I saw everything else. That was awesome. And then along with that, there's also Sossusvlei National Park. So what's so sick about that, so the rolling sand dunes I was talking about, those are the white sands that you kind of see on most places, you know, the big white sand. But what's so cool about Sossusvlei National Park is that they have red sand. And the reason for that is because in that national park, the wind blows from all directions. And so what that means is that the sand has enough time to all stay in one spot in order for the iron to react with the quartz to turn it red. Whereas with the white sands, the wind is always blowing the same direction. And so it doesn't allow the sand to change color. It doesn't have the time for the chemical reaction to take place.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
And what that also means is that in Sossusvlei, it means that the dunes don't move. They're like mountains. So they have named dunes with signs.
What?
Yeah, so cool, right?
That is so cool.
And so you can hike dunes just like mountains.
Did you surf down them too? Do they have like a resort on dunes?
Actually, not there, but at the white sand place they do. I think the red ones are more protected.
Okay.
But the white sands, since they just do their own thing, move around like crazy, that's where they have all the recreation. Right. And while I was there, I definitely did 4-wheeling on the sand dunes. I did sandboarding.
Yeah.
I skydived there.
Into the dunes?
Skydove. Not into the dunes necessarily, but at like right around the dunes. It was so cool. Oh my god! Because when you're high up there, you can see like the ocean there. There's a huge desert there. It's and they have also these crazy salt farms, and so they have like these crazy colored water where they're drying out the water to get the salt. Oh, so cool! And you can do deep sea fishing there. It's like one of the coolest places I've ever been.
Yeah.
Namibia is the only country I visited twice while I was over there. Okay. And on my budget, that is saying a lot.
Was it pretty expensive then?
Not for our budget. Exactly.
Just on a piece of our budget.
Yeah. I mean, if you can go there, the only expensive thing is getting there. But once you're there, you can, you know, stay in a backpacker's hostel for like $8 a day. Yeah. And you can do all the coolest stuff. Not too cheap, but like $75 for like kayaking with seals, which I did.
Nice.
And yeah, it was magical there. Oh my god. Oh, and they also, I didn't even mention, they do also have giant mountains.
Do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
huge mountains.
Dang.
And they also raise the best beef I've ever had, amazingly. Yeah, go figure, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, you can also have amazing game meat. I got this skewer one time that had zebra, oryx, springbok, kudu, and crocodile just on one skewer.
That sounds amazing.
It was so good.
Was it like seasoned well? And
oh yeah, it was.
That sounds perfect.
Actually, it wasn't even seasoned that much. It was just like the flavor of the meat was shining through, and it was like such quality. Because over there, it's legal to harvest game meat because it's like, you know, depending on the game, of course.
Of course, yeah.
You're not going to find an elephant steak or anything like that. Hopefully. So yeah, Namibia, amazing place. That was our first trip that we took out of Zambia. And then even within Zambia, I did plenty of traveling. You've got 7 different provinces where they speak, amazingly, a total of 72 languages.
What's the primary language? Like, what language did you learn?
Yeah, great question. So when we're during training, we have our different language groups because depending on where we go in the country, we learn a different language.
Right.
And so I was one of only 4 fish farming volunteers who got selected to go to Northwest, where we learned a language called Lunda, which is only
primary language there.
Not at all, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness.
So it served us well in our villages naturally. So we were speaking Lunda, which is only spoken by about 100,000 people in the whole world. So it's not incredibly useful on a resume, aside from the fact that I can show that I'm able to learn a new language.
Yeah.
So for example, if I were to greet you in Lunda, I would say like, Muringahimani.
Like,
and you do this, yeah. And then you would say like, Chwaimani, Nasakiri Kumani, Kujinu. So that's like, I'm saying like, how are you? And you're saying like, I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Thank you. How are you? So yeah, it's a very, very foreign sounding language that has very unique sounds that you wouldn't find in English.
It's so hard to learn.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
But I love a challenge. I love learning new languages. That's why I was lucky that I was born in Germany and then just sort of thrown into the States.
Yeah.
Because I got a bit of English growing up, but in Germany I was learning German mostly.
Right.
So that sort of trained my brain from an early age to learn how to learn languages.
I think that's important when you're really early on in developmental and you're pliable. Like that young, I think it's really hard at my age. I have one language in me.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, so now it's maybe later in life I'll try it, but
there you go. I mean, it's never too late.
I want to know about this fish farm though. So like, what was the fish farming like? Like, what was the day-to-day work that you had to do?
So interestingly, that's one of the common misconceptions about Peace Corps is that you have a job that you do every day. We don't do things, we teach things. And that is something that I was very surprised by.
Okay.
One of the things, or a lot of what I brought to Zambia were like work clothes and like work gloves and like, you know, we're going to be setting up fish ponds for people. But like, no, that's not what Peace Corps does. Peace Corps wants to teach you how to help yourself, not do things for you. Because there are plenty of other organizations who just go and donate their time in order to, you know, help another country.
Right.
But what do they end up with then? You know, a bunch of fish ponds that don't have any way to sustain themselves.
What's that old saying? It's like, give a man a fish, eat for a day, teach a man to fish, like eat for a lifetime.
Exactly.
So same concept here.
Precisely. Yeah.
Okay.
And literally the same concept considering it's and so fish farming ended up being a pretty successful way to let these villagers, of course, get protein into their diet, as well as learn a new skill because they're quite set in their ways until they were, you know, discovered. They were, you know, hunter-gatherer society up until probably, I mean, last century for sure. They didn't gain independence until the 60s. So, you know, they probably like the 30s and 40s, they were still just like nomadic tribesmen gathering and hunting bushmeat and things like that. So yeah, they were sort of forced to move to farming and agriculture. And so they were just taught like this is what you have to do, and that's it. And so it can be difficult to instill new skills in a culture like that, but it was definitely a challenge my village was ready to handle.
Yeah.
I was lucky in that, so every site has 3 generations of volunteers.
Okay.
Ideally, unless something goes wrong. Or unless they extend and get even more. But generally, 3 generations. I was a 3rd generation volunteer at my site. So thankfully, my village was already quite well trained about how to run and manage fish ponds.
Okay.
So I actually had less to do in that regard. And so I actually ended up focusing more of my time on side projects, like because a lot of Peace Corps Zambia's funding is from PEPFAR, which is the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, and malaria education, those 2 programs, we were expected to teach about those as well. So I spent a lot more time teaching about those than the actual fish farming.
I see.
But beyond that, a lot of your time is really just spent
interacting with the community.
Exactly. And by doing so, you represent the USA as a whole, because you're their only introduction to this country that they've only heard of from like Hollywood, things like that. And so we're, in a way, we're somewhat ambassadors to the US. And that's something that I feel like should be made more clear up front, because not everyone should be a representation of the country.
I could tell you a story about someone that was a really bad representation at Peace Corps.
Oh, really? Oh, man, let's hear it.
Well, I don't want to incriminate her.
Oh, okay.
But briefly, like, they just referred to her as the drunk leader. Leader. She's like, they're like, you're drunk too much.
What?
Yeah, she got sent over.
Oh,
I don't remember where, actually. But she was to teach another language there, like that was her role.
Okay.
And she drank so much, like that's what, like, and partied so much.
Yeah.
Like that's what they referred to her as, so like the drunk leader or something, the drunk teacher or something like that.
Oh gosh. I mean, she's definitely not alone on that front, unfortunately.
Really?
But I mean, it can be hard. It's a really hard thing to just be in somewhere that is completely different to you, to where the animals are different, the people are different, the grasses and trees are different. Like there's no shred of familiarity when you're somewhere like that.
What did you do for entertainment? Was it like, did you have TV? Did you have Wi-Fi? Did you like play chess the whole time?
So I had a tablet and a little folding solar panel.
Okay.
So I would just charge that up along with my power banks as often as I could, but especially during rainy season, that was not that easy because it'd be really cloudy sometimes. And so, yeah, I would like, I have a pretty impressive collection of movies that I've gotten from Zambia, be it from the host country nationals or be it from fellow volunteers. There's definitely a big demand for electronics of any kind over there. And so, I spend my time catching up on movies and TV shows and books and, of course, interacting with villagers and just like, when you leave your hut, you can just walk around and everyone loves you. Frankly, they are so welcoming to Americans, to anyone really. They have so much love in their hearts, and they truly thought of me as one of them, as one of the village, and that was definitely beautiful. So yeah, I would just spend my days like living as the villagers do, but with a few more perks, like a tablet and things like that.
For sure.
But yeah, that was one of the hard things, was learning how to fill your day.
Yeah, that's the big thing for a lot of people. Mostly, what fills people's day is getting food.
Right?
It really is. Like trying to get water, get food, cook food, spend the time together as a family, and they have a religious practice usually, and that's like their entire day.
Spot on.
It takes a lot of time.
In fact, now that you mention it, that is a very good point. A lot of my time was spent cooking, prepping, washing, things like that, because not having running water, we would have to go to a well, and the process of getting water, I would take these 2 plastic jugs, carry them over to the well, throw down this old rusty paint bucket with dried paint in it on a chain down into a well, and just yank it up, pour that into my little plastic jugs, and then carry it back to my house, and then I'd have my water, and I'd put it in a filter.
Was that your drinking water too?
Yeah, but I put it in a filter.
Okay.
But yeah, I would filter it, and they said you were supposed to bleach or boil it too, but the villagers only filter it and they're fine, so
some
some volunteers do have weaker stomachs, and they like still bad enough that they actually had to go home sometimes. Like,
yeah, that happens.
it does. Thankfully, I was
Talk
pretty
about
lucky.
lucky. You are pretty lucky not to get some sort of disease or sickness. Like,
Yeah.
You get sick abroad.
I didn't say I didn't get sick. Don't get me
Oh.
wrong. I didn't bring anything back with me, thankfully.
Yeah, no, for sure. You didn't bring the new virus with you. What's it called?
Yeah.
Ovarian?
Oh, Omicron? No,
Omicron?
thankfully not. Yeah. Oh, God.
Even though that's recent.
That's all we need.
I'll get into a conspiracy about that later. I saw it on social media today. It's pretty funny.
Oh,
I'll
good.
show you on my phone later. So I want to bring this back to the fish farming for a second.
Yes, please.
Was it gill netting or was it like what was a fish farm like? Was it in a river? Were they in ponds? Like what kind of fish were they?
Perfect. So the fish farms were, so we were taught to dig them from scratch. And
Wow.
so we actually did build one pond one time as
Wow.
volunteers, just so we know what we're asking the villagers to do.
Yeah.
And so how it works is you find a stream and then you dig. You measure and dig a huge pond.
Right.
And ideally, you would try to line your pond with a plastic liner, because in dry season especially, it's less likely to go down into the ground, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was, as far as the measuring and stuff goes, we were taught so many technical rules about how to make it perfect slope and the height and the depth and everything. And then we try to teach it to Zambians. They're like, what are you talking about?
Like,
We're
just
just going to
dig a
do
hole.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Just dig
And
a
they do
hole.
it so well. They seriously
Right.
did it amazingly. Which, by the way, if you are interested, I have so many pictures.
Oh,
of,
for
like,
sure.
everything.
I
All right,
definitely want to
let's-
see
yeah.
some.
So, and then, so you build the pond next to your stream, and then you dig an inlet from the stream into the pond and let
So
it
that's
fill
what
up.
feeds it. Yeah.
Exactly. And you also build an outlet and close it,
Right.
so that you can drain the water when you want to harvest.
Okay.
And the fish that we would raise were tilapia, which until I went there, I did not even realize were freshwater fish.
I didn't know that either.
Right?
I thought they were from the ocean.
Yeah, they're like that big and like rinky-dink little.
Yeah, I know what they are for
Oh,
sure.
okay, yeah.
But I thought they were like a saltwater fish.
So did I.
Okay.
These are the ponds I was proudest of in my village.
So you built these?
Not me,
Okay.
not me personally, but so this is my friend. The Zambians have very interesting names. His name was Patman, literally Patman, Patman.
Yeah.
That was his family, the Kakomas. They're the ones who built these ponds.
Those are nice.
I don't know if you can see,
You
but
can definitely see it.
okay, sweet, yeah. So those were my proudest ponds over there, and they did such a good job of taking care of it and feeding their fish. The tilapia are great because all you really have to do is just stake some sticks into a corner in a circle shape.
Yeah.
And you want to fill that completely of green stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like anything you can eat, the fish can eat.
Yeah.
They don't want to eat anything waxy like banana leaves, unfortunately, because those are like so plentiful over there.
Yeah.
But they can eat like sweet potato leaves or any soft leaf. They love it. And they don't eat the leaves themselves necessarily, which is why you want to put the sticks down so that you can let them actually decompose. You want to put the leaves along with manure. And this will create what is referred to as a bloom of phytoplankton in the water. And so that comprises of 80% of their diet.
Interesting.
And the rest you can just supplement with like termites, which are everywhere. Or other kinds of bugs, or soy meal if they have it. Usually protein is the only other thing you want to add to them, but they grow a lot by themselves.
Yeah.
So that was super awesome. You can harvest once every 6 months usually is a good time frame. So you like to stagger your ponds so you can have a harvest like every 3 months.
Right.
But yeah, that worked out really well. I mean, it's not like a get-rich-quick scheme by any means, but as long as they are able to keep it up, which I hope they are now, then they can, take care of themselves for generations to come.
Wow, that is really beautiful. Seriously. I was wondering how you get the water out of the ponds too.
Yeah.
Do you just sit in the filth and the excrement just sits in there? I feel like they'd die.
No, I mean, realistically, fish can live in ponds because if you're gonna harvest them in 6 months, they can survive 6 months on it's not quite stagnant water. I mean, you have your inlet, it's not gonna overflow. You want to cover your inlet pipe, of course, but some water changes. It's good to have a mesh screen on your pipes. But yeah, the tilapia are so hardy. It's insane.
Oh, maybe that's why. So it must have been introduced then. Is that?
Oh yeah, they're not natural by any means.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say there's no way that's a natural fish to that region.
There is a Nile bream that came down from Egypt apparently. That has become it's a long way.
Does that Nile flow all the way down there?
It doesn't, but it must connect somehow.
And there's a lot of confluences.
Certainly.
I mean, there's one right here that kind of goes into this lake, and then it comes off this lake into it, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised if people tried bringing them to Zambia to raise them, and then they escaped. That could be as well. But yeah, there are Nile bream, which are very similar to tilapia. But yeah, it's incredible the fact that you can just have these tiny fish, and then 6 months later feed a whole village, technically.
Yeah,
as long as you're really putting the work.
So let's go to vacationing in Zambia. Did you go to those falls in Zambia?
Oh yeah, Victoria Falls.
Okay, tell me about this.
Hell yeah, I did. So this was actually I went twice. The first time was on our way back from our first Namibia trip, because being in Northwest Zambia, first of all, a downside of being here is I'm bordered. Yeah, I'm bordered by 2 countries that Americans aren't allowed into.
Oh, really?
Yep. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is very war torn. Angola, not as much, but definitely enough to where we weren't allowed to go there.
Even to this day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably worse to this day. I mean,
wow.
Has anything gotten better since COVID?
Yeah, that's true.
So I was stuck up here, and to get anywhere, I usually would have to go to the capital of Lusaka, which is way down here. So to get to Lusaka, I would first take a 6-hour bus ride from here to Mwinilunga, which is only about here.
Oh my God.
And then from here, I would go to Solwezi, which was another 6-hour bus ride. And from Solwezi to Lusaka was a 14-hour bus ride on the worst road imaginable.
Probably not a great bus either.
Actually, surprisingly, they weren't bad. It was kind of like a Greyhound kind of situation. I mean, obviously, no one's gonna love a Greyhound, but it's better than you'd expect. Yeah. But the ones I took from here to here were not.
Oh, shabby.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are long bus rides.
Yes.
How was your sciatic after that? Just burning?
Pretty much, yeah. And, swollen feet and all that stuff. That's like an international flight every time, right? And so, from Lusaka, then, to get to Namibia, you go down to Livingstone, Zambia, which is not to be confused with Livingston, Montana. So, from there, Livingstone is where Victoria Falls is, which is one of the natural wonders of the world. It is the world's largest waterfall, which that is categorized in a few different ways. For example, Niagara is the most amount of falling water at once.
Okay.
There are others that are taller. What Victoria Falls has going for it is it's the largest free-falling sheet of water in the world. So it's longest, tallest, in that regard. So they are huge. And so when I went there in October, which was on our way back from Namibia, which I forgot to mention, the reason we even went there when we did in October was because we went there for Oktoberfest.
What?
Since it was a German colony.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they have an annual Oktoberfest, and it's huge and awesome. It's so much fun. But yes, so on our way back, I'm like, well, I have to check out Victoria Falls.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, October is the dry season. So I want to show you a picture of the first time I saw Victoria Falls. And it was just like a canyon. It was so not disappointing. It was actually extraordinary knowing that it's usually gigantic. So I want to show you the before and after because I was thankfully able to go again.
Right. Because I've only seen this on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't even fathom it in person because on TV they can get the above shots and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So here was the biggest stream falling down from Victoria Falls when I saw it.
That's it.
Can you believe that?
I didn't expect that. Right? I thought it was going to be more than that.
This is what I saw.
So little.
And then
Palisade Falls.
Yeah, seriously, exactly. And then the next time I saw it, it was
way bigger.
Unreal. I am going to find it right here.
Want some more water, by the way?
That'd be great, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna refill it, but I'm
No, you're good.
In my chatter now.
Good. Got the refill, which is a smart move. We never had a refill bottle before.
This was the next time I saw him.
Wow. So you can go right up there.
Yep.
Wow.
You sure can. You can even, in the dry season, there's a pool up here. And it's called the Devil's Pool. Devil's Pool, yep. Yeah. You can get right on the very edge of Victoria Falls, and there's no current somehow. It's just like a little pool. You can look over the edge.
Did you do it?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Why
because
not?
the only
You had to do it.
You can't go when they're like that.
Okay.
And the other time was on our way back from Namibia, and I spent all of my money. And you can't just go there. You have to like get a guide to take you there. Sure. Because I would have died for sure. I would have just been like, oh, it's probably this.
So what time of year can you do that?
In the dry season.
In the dry season.
Yes.
But not that dry.
You can, there's the pool is there. You can go when it's less dry too, for sure. But you can't go when it's raging like that. Yeah. Because it's just way too much water. Okay. It's like there are apparently like elephants that get sucked in and just like go over and like.
I'm sure.
Yeah. You can't save if you're stuck in that waterfall.
You're gone. I've seen that Devil's Pool though. And I'm like, I see it. I'm like, how do those people survive? Mm-hmm. I'm serious. I'm like, how are they not swept over that waterfall? Because the power of water is not to be reckoned with. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, they're gonna die. They're dead. Next.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, you can just chill there and like take little selfies and all that fun stuff.
That's so cool.
I definitely regret not doing that, but I'm glad I at least went to the falls. Mm-hmm. And so another bit of traveling I did within Zambia was to Lake Tanganyika, which is right. Oh, here we go. Sorry, it's
hard on this map.
I can't see.
It might be easier on that map over there.
It's one of these two lakes. I can't remember exactly which one.
Probably this one.
Okay.
I'd say I would guess because this one doesn't look like it looks like it's in a different country.
Oh yeah, it does look like it goes to you're totally right. Yep, it's on the border of Tanzania and Zambia right there, and that was very special to me as well. We got to, so I went with like 6 of my friends probably this trip, and from here you go to, which obviously took me forever to go from here to here to here to here to here to here.
Yeah. A million bus rides later.
If I could just go like that, it would have been so fast. But
not with those little puddle jumping planes.
Oh, that would have been nice. And so when we got there, we had to take this ferry ride across
the lake,
which is the second deepest lake on Earth. It is so huge. And let me show you what this water taxi looks like.
And what's the lake called again?
Lake Tanganyika. So here's the boat we're taking across this huge lake. You can't even see the boat, and it's filled to the brim. Yeah. And as we're going, the captain is bailing buckets of water out of this boat because it's in the process of sinking. Jesus. And there's no shade. You're just out there exposed to the elements. Yeah. But then eventually, first of all, this is how big it is. It looks like the ocean.
Right.
Just
massive.
All you see is just water. But then eventually you get to this beach. It's called Luke's Beach. I don't know. I think it was these Swedes who opened it. And it's not actually an island, but it feels like it. Right. Because you go across the lake and just end up on another shore in Zambia, but you can't get there besides on a boat. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it looked like.
That's beautiful.
It was so pretty. It's just like super green hills, and there are these giant, sort of big huts, I guess. I don't know what the word is for it. Yeah. But we got to set up. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we got to set up camp on the beach, and just hung out like a bunch of wild childs for a few days, and like. Here's an awesome picture of my friend Ian climbing this palm tree to get a coconut. So
tropical.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
They literally brought in the sand and planted these palm trees.
Did?
Yep. They decided to just make a place out of it, which is why it's called Luke's Beach, because this Luke guy made
it's like, this is going to be my beach.
Right, exactly.
Nothing wrong with that.
And it was like, such a cool experience. And then some other traveling I did was after my service, when you finish your Peace Corps service, you are paid your what's called a readjustment allowance, which you earn throughout your service in like, I don't know, $200 a month or something like that, or
That's
$400 a month. And then they finally give it to you at the end, so you get $8,000 when you're done to readjust, aka travel.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could probably spend half of that and figure out a job when I get back.
Yeah.
So I booked a bunch of flights and I flew. Trip one was to Victoria Falls, so I could see them when they were raging.
Cool.
And then from there, I flew to Cape Town, South Africa, which was
Tell me about this.
so sick.
Which is Johannesburg is the capital, right? Or is it Cape Town? I think it's
I
Johannesburg.
do believe it's Johannesburg.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it looks like this. Let's see. There's star.
Yeah, it's like
circle,
3
circle.
stars. I think it's just like major cities,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. I've never asked what the stars are about.
Well, so the star, Windhoek is the capital of that. The star is the capital of that. So that's very odd. There would be multiple stars.
There might be 3 capitals. Who
Huh?
knows? Well, how many stars are on this map? There's only Brazil.
Yeah, that's very strange. Every other country
Everyone just has
only has one star.
'Cause that's our star, the capital.
Yeah. Whoa.
You know, this must have 3 capitals. Because different places, one thing I'll mention is like, you know, the world sees the world differently.
Yeah.
So we recognize, we'll just say 210 countries.
Mm-hmm.
Russia recognizes like 194 countries.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And like some people recognize Israel, some people recognize Palestine.
Right.
Some people recognize Johannesburg, some people recognize Cape Town. So it's really ambiguous of like how the world sees the world.
Good
And the
point.
UN sees it differently than the US and Russia and South America. So maybe that's why it has 3 capitals.
That could very well be. That's way
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so, sorry, Cape Town was so awesome. While I was there, they have Boulder Beach, which is just full of penguins everywhere.
I've heard about those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chinstrap penguins,
Like,
aka jackass penguins, and they're like the reason they're called jackass penguins is because of the noise they make.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Here, I've got one right here.
I'm imagining like a donkey. That's not a jackass noise. That is so cute.
It is
That
very
so
cute.
Oh my goodness. He's like, hi.
Yeah,
hi.
literally, yeah. Feed me.
Yeah, exactly. He's so cute.
And
I love him.
they're everywhere. Like
Yeah.
even in the town, they're just like wandering the streets, chilling in the
Really?
gutters, like hanging out. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And also, one really cool thing I did in Cape Town was summit my first mountain.
Your first one.
My first one.
Is this where the inspiration started?
Without realizing it, yes.
Okay, which mountain was it?
So my very first mountain I summited was called Lion's Head Mountain,
Lion's
which
Head
is like at the very, very, very bottom, like on the coast, basically jutting out of the water.
Which had to be cold.
No, it was
Wow.
gorgeous. Oh, it was perfect weather. Oh, it was so cool. And we, for my very first summit, it was a lot more technical of a hike than I expected. It had staples sticking in the rock that you had to like climb up.
Yeah.
It was
Those little rebar things?
they're a little nicer, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're like climbing up this wall. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like it's never that I thought I couldn't do it. I just like never thought of climbing stuff or hiking. I don't know. It's like a weird mental block that happens when you don't realize what's out there.
Yeah.
Here we go. You can see a picture of the staples here. You have to climb. It's only for a short section, but you can see them sticking out right there.
Okay.
You're like climbing up those chains and stuff.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, not too technical, but it's like, you know.
Still kind of technical.
It's not like, you know, drinking horse.
It's pretty easy.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, we got on Lion's Head, and there's just this sweeping, beautiful view of the ocean, and there's also a view of Cape Town's signature mountain. So, just like the Bridger Range kind of defines Bozeman,
Mm-hmm.
Table Mountain, which who doesn't have a Table Mountain, defines Cape Town.
Uh-huh.
And this was taken with an older phone, so it's not as great a quality as it could be, but you
That's
can definitely tell how spectacular Table Mountain is.
That's so beautiful.
And what is so cool about Cape Town
Wow.
is that it has 2 coasts, basically.
I was wondering
One's-
about that.
Yeah,
What is that?
one side is the Indian Ocean and one side is the Atlantic Ocean.
What?
Because it's just right here, but Cape Town actually like it's where they meet. It's where the Indian and Atlantic Oceans meet. And it's so special there. And so the waters mix, and like you'll find not different color. Maybe not that I saw, but where there are different animals on both sides though, and they're like, it's so cool. You can go. I didn't, but you can go swimming with great white sharks with or without a cage. Believe it or not.
Maybe with a cage.
Maybe with a cage. But like, sure. I'm not trying to. Yeah, more power to them. But then the next day, or 2 days later rather, I had plans to summit Table Mountain because I was like, that mountain is sick. I want to bag that peak. Without even realizing, like, I've never even used the term bag a peak or anything like that, but I just something. Oh, really?
Never used that. Well, I bag a lot of peaks.
Bag of peaks, baby. But yeah, I just like saw the mountain. I was like, I want to get on top of that. Like that is the Cape Town. I want to like get that. Yeah. And so the day that I was planning to do it, I woke up like so sick for some reason, like the worst cold. No. And I was like, I don't care. It's my last day in Cape Town. I'm doing it. Dude. Yeah. And so I just like took some Dayquil, chugged a Red Bull, or whatever they had. Yeah, I know, right? I know. And then I just put into Uber. I needed a ride to Table Mountain without doing any research. I was like, okay, I'll go through the Stellenbosch winery like everyone does. It's going to be a nice little walk through these vineyards, and then you're just like up on the mountain. But what I didn't realize was that the Uber destination took me to like the backside, which is called Platklip Gorge, and is like the climbing route, and I didn't realize it. Goodness. And so here I am, sick as hell. It's hot as hell, and it's just not a cloud in the sky. Here's a picture of the way up. You can see the canyon was just like so cool looking. Yeah, it's beautiful. It was so beautiful, but
it's pretty precarious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was not the easiest push by any means. I'm like, like
that's dangerous, dude.
And for it being my second summit ever, and like I don't know, probably 10th hike period, honestly, it was pretty brutal. But I got up there and I felt so accomplished. I was just sitting up there, and there are these like two big black eagles like flying overhead, and it was so awesome. And then I saw this other group of people, and one of them South African, and we're like talking, and they're like, "Oh, which way did you go?" I was like, "Oh, I went up like that gorge." They're like, "You went up Platklip Gorge, Bruce? Some mountain climbers. What are you thinking?" And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense. There's another way." Woo! So from there though, you can take a tram down, and so I was like, nice. I'm gonna do that. So good. Thankfully. Yeah. So I did that, and I met this girl from Finland, and then I was like, "Do you want to go up Lion's Head with me too?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "This is what I need after a day of summiting Table Mountain. I need to summit another mountain." Yeah. And then we're like going up, and it's getting dark, and she's getting scared because she's on a headlamp, so we should really capture her around. But anyway, bottom line is I was exhausted next day.
How many? What's the elevation though?
Gain or total or like?
We'll do both.
Okay, great question. I don't know either.
Perfect. Tall and taller.
Exactly. Frankly, it can't be that high above sea level considering it's on the coast. But I mean, I want to say it's like 3,000 feet gain.
That's freaking huge.
Yeah, it was a honker. Yeah. I hope that whoever's watching this isn't fact checking me right now and realizing like, oh, this guy only had like 500 feet.
That's okay. They'll get there expecting a lot, and then they'll just bag that peak.
That's right. I don't know. I'm in airplane mode. I'm gonna leave. That's okay. I don't want to blow myself up. So. And then right after that was when I went to my Namibia for the second trip, actually. And so I slept the entire flight, slept the entire drive to where I was going. And then after Namibia, I went to Mozambique, which is a very special place, but another place that I should have done more research about because I booked a flight to Maputo, the capital, which was neat, but more so historic than what I was looking for. I was looking for like the beach. Oh, I was looking to chill because this is my last stop before heading back stateside. So I was like, adventure here, and chilling here.
Okay.
And so
it looks pretty far away from the beach.
Maputo. Yeah, right? It is. Yeah, and that was my mistake. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to stay in Maputo for a few days, and then I'm going to go to what's called Tofa, which is like up here. Okay. That's Malawi. It's interesting they don't differentiate between Malawi and Mozambique for the color. But yeah, this part is Mozambique. Yeah. Malawi is a different country. So I then just like left my reservation early. I couldn't get a refund or anything, but I was like, I'm going to the beach. And so I just took a bus. It was like a 12-hour bus ride.
You and these bus rides.
Dude, that's like the only thing you can do around there, man.
Some places, yeah, they're terrible.
There's no airport in Tofo as far as I know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Tofo, Mozambique, though, that place, if you can ever get over there, oh my God, it's so cool. And when I was in Tofo, I didn't just chill. I was like, I have to do one super memorable thing. So there's this boat tour that you're just like on this big sort of inflatable speedboat. I don't know what the actual term for it is, but you've got your life vests and your snorkeling gear, and what these Mozambique experts, like, they know exactly how to find the coolest stuff. It's insane. You go and just get in the boat, and then they're just like in the open ocean, like no landmarks, nothing. They're just like going around and like, oh, there's gonna be something right there. Go, jump. Yeah. And they like go there and stop, and then you jump out, and then so we all jump out, and you're just like, boom, and these gigantic manta rays, dude, just like swimming around.
Are they beautiful?
So majestic, huge,
they're
and
so big.
Gorgeous.
They are.
Oh man, just flying down there effortlessly.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they just disappear. That's when I really
They can swallow you whole.
Oh, absolutely.
They are massive.
Yep.
The first time you see one, it's magical.
Totally. Yep. And then we got back in the boat, and then like, all right, let's see what we can find now. It's like, and then they're like, jump, and then freaking dolphins, like a pod of dolphins jumping around, and then they're underwater. You're just like watching them, like, oh my God, I'm just watching these dolphins doing crazy stuff out in the ocean, and like the same thing. They just like dive a little bit down and just disappear. It's so crazy about the ocean. Can't see that far, but it looks like you can. And so you're like, wow, and then it just comes out of nowhere. And then after that, we get back in, and the real goal of this tour is to like hopefully see a whale shark.
Okay.
The biggest fish in the ocean, because whales are not fish.
They're mammals.
That's right. So we're just cruising, like hoping we can find some. And there are actually some other boat tours as well, kind of in the distance. And then we're like, our captain's like, do you see any? And they're like, no. Then, all right, like, because you're not guaranteed to see anything, obviously. Right. Then we're just going around, and then finally they're like, oh my God, look at that shadow. It's like this huge shadow in the water, and they're like, rrr. And then, they can't go like too fast and loud because obviously they'll scare it away. Yeah. But they're like, go. And then we jump out, and I'm just face to face with this gigantic whale shark, dude. Oh, it was so cool. Oh my God. And it wasn't scared of us. It was.
Were you scared of it?
Not as much as I probably should have been, but I was more just like in awe.
Yeah. Do they eat people?
No. Okay. They're really, so shark. I mean, it's a shark only biologically. It doesn't like have. I don't even think it has teeth. It just goes and eats plankton.
Okay. I know what it looks like in my head. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if it's like carnivorous or what. Okay.
Yeah. No. Just like has like a huge mouth and just like. Oh, get me all the plankton. Okay. And so, the whale shark, it hung around for like 10 minutes. It was just hanging around, swimming by us, like having fun. Yeah. But like, obviously we were like, whoa. Yeah. And this one guy jumped in and was facing the wrong way. And he's like, where is the thing? And he turns around. And he's like, oh my God. He's like right by its tail. Yeah. That's what's dangerous.
Because they can like flap it in the middle of the ocean.
So they don't have flat tails like whales. They have sideways tails like sharks. But yeah, they can whip it side to side and they can knock you unconscious immediately or kill you, literally. It's like huge. But yeah, no, we all got safely done with that without incident. Yeah. Now the amount of waivers I had to sign over there to do all that stuff.
Sure. That is crazy. I can't believe you saw all those animals.
Yeah, in like an hour. Lucky. It was so amazing.
I feel like a lot of people don't always get that lucky to see that many sea creatures.
Agreed. That's what they said to us.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so lucky.
And saying this story made me realize I totally forgot to mention that was my post-Zambia trip. During Zambia, I also went and visited Tanzania, right up here.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah. Tanzania is an amazing country. So that is more of...
like the Serengeti, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's so green. It's got Kilimanjaro. I didn't unfortunately get to Kilimanjaro. It's kind of expensive because you gotta go with like a guide and stuff. But yeah. So Tanzania, we took a bus. No, we took a train.
Oh, thank goodness.
No, worse. Yeah, no believe it or not, dude.
No way.
So much worse. Oh my god, it was a 4-day train ride.
All right.
Because you're like putting along. I don't know why they're not going faster. You're like
20 miles per hour.
Yeah, dude. And then you're just like you just stop for like hours, and then you don't know why. No one knows why. You're just like, guess we're gonna stop now.
You ran out of Windhoek.
Right.
Or cool.
Yeah, seriously. Thankfully, I was there with 5 of my great friends, and we just had a blast the whole time.
Pretty sure.
And maybe it wasn't 4 days. I think it was 2 days, but still, it was a long time to be in a train. Oh my god, it was a disaster. And like, mind you, I'm glossing over so many little things that were incredible inconveniences at the time.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We get to Dar es Salaam, the capital, and we take a ferry from here to the island of Zanzibar, which is so tiny it's not even on the map because it would have been like a pinpoint.
Yeah.
But Zanzibar is a real place.
I've heard of Zanzibar.
Everyone's heard of Zanzibar, but they're like, yeah, like the restaurant.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, the Halo map, which I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is a Halo map.
See? But yeah, there is an actual tropical paradise island called Zanzibar off the coast of Tanzania.
Okay.
That is jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
Oh, I'm sure.
If you picture a perfect white sand, turquoise water tropical island, like this is what you are thinking of.
So is it pretty touristy there then?
Surprisingly, not as much as one would expect. Like it's not like Jamaica and stuff.
Yeah.
We were able to stay like in a backpackers lodge, like didn't have to worry about all the like rich tourists and stuff. Because I'm sure that would have been a little bit of a turn off, honestly. But we were just like slumming it. It was just me and a girl, by the way, which was also nice. It was just for Christmas and New Year's.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just for Christmas and New Year's in Zanzibar. It was like the most magical thing. And while I was there, we also did some snorkeling there too. And instead of being in the open ocean like in Mozambique, so Zanzibar is very unique in the fact that it has. I'm not sure if it's the world's most drastic tide, but if it's not, it's got to be in the top like 5 because it's for some reason it's so shallow everywhere. I never was able to find myself from the beach. I wasn't able to find water that I couldn't stand up in. Yeah. You have to like take a boat out really far to finally find water deep enough. Yeah, it's so amazing.
That'd be so much fun to play in.
Seriously, especially at low tide. The tide changes for like a mile or 2.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, so yeah, that also makes for some of the warmest water you've ever felt because it's so shallow. The sun warms it all up. Oh, it's so beautiful. You're just like stepping in the water. You're like, okay, I'll just chill in this.
I have to this little island now. This is insane.
Oh, dude, you have to. You gotta just that whole part of the world. I mean,
it sounds like a honeymoon,
dude. Yes, seriously. Yeah, it was. It definitely felt like it.
Was this your girlfriend?
No.
Just the girl you met?
Well, she was a volunteer, a Peace Corps volunteer. We went together. Complicated.
You went together?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we went together to do this vacation together.
Oh, I thought you meant like you went together too.
Oh, sorry, no.
I was like, wait, you signed up together?
Oh no.
Like, why didn't you mention that?
Really not. No, God, no. I don't know if I could be stuck with anyone.
I was like, that's a long time.
Yeah, that would be.
Especially a little village like that. Like, you didn't tell me that?
No, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense that you went together just to
Sorry, we went to Zanzibar together, yes.
Okay.
But for the snorkeling there, we hired a boat. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a company. It was just like these guys. But, classic. They knew what they were doing, though. They took us to this amazing reef, and we jumped in, and there's just beautiful, colorful corals everywhere and fish just swimming around all around us, and you can go you don't want to touch things preferably, but look at stuff close. It's so cool. And then we got back on the boat, and then he was like, hey, do you guys want to go see some starfish? We're like, yeah. And then just instinctively he knows exactly where to go. Again, he just takes us to this other place also far away, and he's like, all right, I'll be right back, and he just like jumps off. Mind you, he's the guy piloting our boat. So we're like, and he just comes back up with like a whole heaping armful of starfish. Whoa. And he's like, check these out. And they're like so beautiful, colorful. Like they're not they're not what I would think of as a typical starfish. I've never seen them before. They're like spiky and they're like their main one color, and the spikes are different colors. They're so pretty. And he's like, yeah, come on, check it out for yourself. And we get down there, and the whole floor is just littered in them. Like they're layered on top of each other. It was so magical.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then we like for New Year's, fireworks and like it was.
I can imagine this and how beautiful those starfish are, dude.
Oh man!
I cannot believe this island right now. I have to go to Zanzibar.
Yes, you do.
So
and the best seafood because they just catch it and cook it right there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man!
So I want to dive into a little bit more of Tanzania real quick, but I want to go put that stew on low.
I'm into that.
Hold on. I'll BRB.
Sounds great.
Don't lose your spot.
I'm going to look up Table Mountain while you're up there.
Okay.
I'm blown up over here. Table Mountain.
Okay, that was like perfect timing on that stew.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like boiling still. It's been boiling for the last hour or so. So
heck yeah.
I needed to turn that on low before I overcooked the meat in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, before it got too dry on the meat. I don't even know if it can get too dry because it's just boiled and stew meat.
Better safe than sorry.
It really is better safe than sorry. So now we're good. Okay, which one are you looking at?
I'm looking up Cape Town. So the elevation of Table Mountain is just 3,500 feet.
That's pretty big.
Elevation total.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think they actually have the Black Cliff Gorge on all trails, interestingly, which is my usual go-to for learning elevation game. Sometimes they don't put the more dangerous things on there. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Black Cliff. Oh, here it is. No, never mind. It's on all trails.
Of course.
I just had to look for like, I dislike the. Okay. Wow. So it's. Wow. Okay, so it's 1.8 miles up with 2,300 feet elevation gain.
That's
That's
big.
That's more than 1,000 a mile. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Even for me now. Wow, I'm impressed with myself back then.
Yeah, there you go.
I was in like decent shape. This is a new type of body for me.
Right. I'll get into that later too.
Yeah.
We have a long way to
go. Yeah, I was, wow, that's, okay, I'm sorry. So Tanzania.
Let's get into Tanzania. Yeah,
I wish I had more to tell you about Tanzania, but
Okay.
because we took the train, we didn't get off until we got to Dar es Salaam, and in the capital, we didn't really do much.
Okay.
Because we just took the ferry that same day.
Okay.
But on the way back, I got to see much more of Tanzania, but not for the best reason.
Uh-oh.
So we didn't consider the fact that because we were there for Christmas and New Year's, and we were leaving on January 1st, that everyone else would be too.
Of course.
And when you're on an island, there's only so many ways to get home for cheap, especially.
Yeah.
You can fly, which we cannot afford because, again, at the end of a trip as a volunteer, you are broke.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to the ferry station, everything is booked, and we are screwed. Just me and this girl. And it turns out we had to take buses the whole way back to
the
Zambia.
bus.
Yeah, back to the bus. And for some strange reason, this bus we were on in Tanzania was so uncomfortable. The seats were like this.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're on, and this was.
And there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this seat was, or this bus, the ride was like 16 hours. And in Zambia, you're actually not allowed to drive your bus at night. So
why?
Safety. I mean, the roads are like garbage, straight up garbage. And I mean, not always, not everywhere, but just as a rule, they're like, yeah, they're probably garbage. Let's not even drive at night.
Yeah.
So we had to spend the night on this bus.
That's the worst thing I could possibly do.
It was a nightmare.
Oh my goodness.
But the cool thing is, the bus ride itself was so scenic.
Yeah.
We got to see, I literally saw a leopard chasing a gazelle across the road.
Wow.
Like,
nice.
just like we see deer crossing the road here, it's like, and not in a national park or anything, just like on a highway.
Yeah.
Like, what? And, seeing it from the road isn't like the most immersive experience, but it's better than a train because the train only goes in like the most rural areas pretty much.
Yeah.
And you can only see from like one side.
Yeah.
So finally get done with this bus ride and get into central Zambia.
Okay.
Right down here. And from here we have an option to take more buses back to our northwestern province, or but we'd have to spend the night there, or we try to hitchhike, which is like a super common method of transportation over there.
Seems dangerous over there.
You would be very surprised because it's such common practice over there to hitchhike.
Yeah.
It's perfectly safe because like everyone does it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's actually quite a misconception that like people are out to get you over there.
Yeah.
Pickpocketers and stuff maybe, but like
that's everywhere.
Exactly. They're not trying to like kidnap a U.S. American. Like they know better than that.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good.
I never felt actually in danger at all during my whole 2 years and 3 months in Africa.
Okay.
I never felt in danger.
Nice. That's good to know, actually.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to know. Granted, I am a large male.
Still, even though a large male, you can still like get
absolutely
taken. Like it's really real. Like people take you, and they can hold you for ransom. Like
that's absolutely true.
Horror stories of people getting taken, even in Mexico. Like people legitimately getting like their body parts taken away from them.
I know.
It's bad and it's real. So you do have to be aware.
Thankfully, Africa doesn't really have gangs.
Really?
I feel like that's a big thing.
What a big thing in South Africa is, like a lot of gangs.
Don't get me wrong. Where I went in Africa, you're right. Especially Joburg, Johannesburg, that can be a little bit more dangerous for sure. But I mean, if you're going to like a common destination in Africa, you'll be safe. Right. I think personally, I'm not like, don't sue me. If you're not.
It's a good point. I should start thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you safe to go?
Yeah, seriously.
I'm going to start thinking about that.
In my own personal experience.
Right, my own personal experience. I was safe.
Exactly. And so, we get back here and then we're just hitchhiking and then we see this semi pulled over and we're like, hey, who are you? Where are you going? And turns out he's this long haul truck driver who goes from Botswana up to... Oh, where does he go? He goes, I want to say like all the way to Ghana.
No way. That is so far.
Yeah, he goes really far. And he was like, yeah, I'll take you, no worries. And so from there, like, we didn't go fast, but we got to go that day at least.
Yeah, sure.
Because from here to here, that's the worst stretch of road. I mean, I've said it a lot of times, and I'll never stop saying it. It is the worst. It's called Chingola Road. Hopefully, it's better now. It's been I should actually say it. I went there in February 2016, and I left the continent at the end of April of 2018.
I'm gonna guess it's not better now, especially with COVID happening 2 years ago.
Agreed.
That gives them 2 year window to make an improvement.
Exactly.
I don't think it happened. So we're gonna say it's probably the worst road in the world right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the unfortunate thing is that there is so much corruption in the country that a lot of the money that's meant to be spent for infrastructure just ends up in politicians' pockets.
Yeah.
Yep.
That happens a lot.
Yep.
A
exactly.
lot of those countries.
It's a crying shame, frankly.
It really is.
That's just the reality, unfortunately. I mean, when you're on a little bus ride and your bus is overcrowded legally, then you have to stop and your driver has to bribe the cop and then you go on your way. It's just, commonplace.
It is. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But, that was the most I got out of Tanzania, really. But Dar es Salaam, I'll never forget the one guy who helped us because Tanzania, the official language, it's either Swahili.
I think it's Swahili.
I think so. And so there aren't that many English speakers, but thankfully this one guy at the ferry station who we had met on our way to Zanzibar, we saw him again on the way back. Oh my God, the way we even met him. Oh my God. The way we met him. The girl that I took to Zanzibar, she left her freaking wallet in the taxi.
What a girl thing to do.
She left her wallet in a taxi, and the taxi driver drove away. Obviously,
of course.
He didn't know. He didn't know at the time, but then he did know. I'm sure he found her money. Because,
I'm sure he did.
And then the guy at the local bus depot, the guy who I think runs it, at least act like he ran the place. He was like, "Oh, I know the taxi driver. I'll go find him." And he found him, told him to stop, and got her wallet back, and saved us.
You're
and we're
so
"Thank
lucky.
you so much."
You're so lucky.
So, and that was the beginning of our trip too. That would have been a ruined.
Was
my
a
God,
passport
so
in there?
terrible. No, actually, thankfully
Okay.
not. But nevertheless,
Right.
all of our money and cards and
uh-huh.
U.S. IDs and all that stuff like that.
Right.
So that was thankfully day saved. And then when we got back, we saw this guy again. And we're like, "Hey, so."
Do you have money?
No. We saw the guy who saved us before.
Oh,
when we got back. So we I didn't even mention it. Oh my God! So because we missed the ferry, we had to take a different ferry that was an overnight ferry, and they have the same rules as the buses. You can't go at night. So
It's an overnight ferry.
Yeah, it is.
So what do you? That's a little counterproductive.
You start at the sunset, go as far as you can until it's dark, and then you just park in the little
Why?
I don't know what you call it, a bay or maybe just the ocean. I don't know. You just
Yeah.
park there because there's little fishing boats that might get run over by these big ferries. And so they just have to stay there overnight. And so we're just rocking in the ocean in the middle of the night, wishing we were on our train ride back to Zambia that we can't get on now. And so we're just rocking there, and then we get to the Dar es Salaam, the capital, and we're like, "Hey, can you please find us a bus? We don't know anything about anything. Can you please help us?" And he saved our life again. I don't know his name or anything, but I'll never forget him. He's the man.
People are like that, dude. I have a lot of stories, just random people, not even knowing my name, never have spoken a word to me, have helped me in so many ways.
That's so awesome.
Get across the country or show me a cool place to go and just made my life that much better, and I'll never forget it.
Good.
For sure. But as on that ferry, did you go up to was there a deck?
Yeah.
You could go to and see the stars and kind of hang out, have a picnic and have some tea.
At this point, I will admit we were pretty defeated
Yeah.
because we missed the ferry that made us miss our train ride, and we had no idea what kind of journey we had ahead of us or anything.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to sleep and try to forget about our troubles. And we didn't know the last time we'd be able to, we didn't know the next time we'd be able to lie down to sleep. We had no idea what was ahead of us.
So did you sleep on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh yeah, on the floor of the ferry,
Yep,
which was
done
not
that.
the cleanest place ever, I'm sure.
No.
But,
Gotta do what you gotta do, though.
exactly. So, that guy saved our butts because he told us how to get to the bus depot, what kind of bus to ask for to get us back to Zambia, and we were on our merry way with that lovely semi-truck driver. Eventually, got back there and just wanted to kiss the ground when we got back.
That happens.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And so, I'm sure I have another 2 years worth of stories to share, but that about sums up my time there. Those
That's
were the
pretty
countries
cool,
I visited. Thank you.
Dude, you've been around. That is a really beautiful story.
Thank you.
That's impressive. I wish, because in Tanzania, I think that's a big thing for game reserves to go see, all the safaris to go camping at, the Serengeti, and I think this was a huge great migration place.
Yes.
Where they all go to that lake right here.
Yep.
I don't know what the lake is called. It's not even listed.
Yeah, this is the Okavango Delta in Botswana, which is also very common for that, and didn't get to see that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Tanzania, very, very good for game reserves.
Yeah, I really want to see the Great Migration in Tanzania. Take big safari, take a long time, and now
let me know when you're going. I'll go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of the goals with this Matthew's Map and the podcast is to make a travel community, so people can see who's going where and when. Because a lot of my friends that are nomads and myself, I always go alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sad to always go alone. I'm not always sad, but it's
sure.
Sometimes I just want to have a friend there, a friendly face or just somebody to go with, that we're going in a common direction. And I would just like to have some companionship because it's more fun to make memories with friends. They just hit your heart better and it's so fun to share with somebody else. So one of the goals is I wanted to create some sort of community where you can dive onto a website or an app and see who's going and when and be hey, I want to go. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this big tour company. You can just hop on and hey, you're going? Can I join? Yeah, let's go.
That's awesome.
Something like that, or some sort of community where people can log on to Matthew's Map the podcast or whatever, like a talk forum, and be like, let's go here, let's go there, and just like talk about this stuff.
Nice job.
So,
that's a great idea, man.
One
It's
of
a
the
noble
goals.
cause.
No, dude, there's so many goals with this podcast. So many goals. But that's one of them too. It's like to join the travel community.
Very cool.
And, like everyone is like welcome to come on these trips, you know. Or like if you post a trip, you can say want 3 people to come with me, and like once it fills up.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So it's like some sort of travel tour thing that I'm trying to make in my head. I have an image of it, but it'll take a couple of years to develop for sure.
I have faith.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you got a vision. That's the important thing.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But yeah, I would definitely let you know.
Thank you. Thanks, dude. Yeah.
Because you have to take me over to Zanzibar.
I'm on it. Yeah, I will have more money this time, which will be helpful.
Except I don't even bring a girl if it's like this honeymoon thing.
Well, yeah. It depends how close you want to get to her, because you don't want to jump to a honeymoon phase and then leave a honeymoon phase right away, and then things are weird. Be aware.
Well, I do that a lot.
Yeah, don't we all?
Like with those, especially when you're traveling though, because
I know.
I would tell people I went on 1,000 honeymoons because every single day was a honeymoon.
Nice.
Like no matter where I was, it was like honeymoon stuff. Like we're going to the most extravagant sites in the world.
Yeah.
Like people like make their dreams come true, and I was just like, it was a Tuesday, you know. You're just going, you're going like every day it's like a new friend or whatever. I'm like, wow, this is like just the honeymoon travel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was so much fun. There was one girl I actually took on a trip a couple of years ago. She was my girlfriend, and I took her on this whole trip to Costa Rica, planned everything, got Airbnbs, rental car, everything. It was like, it wasn't a honeymoon, it was a Christmas present. It was over Christmas. I was like, all right, nice. Like, felt like really cool, felt like a baller.
Yes.
So it's over Christmas, and I showed her around Costa Rica because I've been there before, and we had a great time. And then it came to Christmas, and she didn't even give me a Christmas present. I was so salty.
What?
No.
What?
So whatever girl with the honeymoon phase
man.
on Zanzibar, better get me a Christmas present. It's
Yeah.
over Christmas. Whatever we go.
That was
But
awesome.
I was so salty about that. I was like, oh man.
Dude.
That honeymoon phase ended pretty quickly.
Oh no.
Definitely some not unilateral love. You need to give it back and forth, and like equal effort is so important.
Reciprocation is important in
Reciprocation.
every aspect.
Equal efforts, equal efforts, equal efforts. Oh my gosh. Male and female, you both need to put in the effort.
Truly.
So yeah, we can definitely sign up some sort of honeymoon trip for Zanzibar.
That
I'm
sounds
really
so dope.
planning on
We
that.
gotta include Kilimanjaro in there though.
How big is that climb? I want to do it though, for sure.
That's a great question. Honestly, depending on the guides you get, some of them will even carry all your stuff for you.
You get a shirt?
Basically,
Yeah.
you know, it's not what they call them, but yeah.
What do they call them there?
I don't know. I think just a guide. I would say just a guide.
The
Yeah.
Sherpas are over in like India and stuff. right?
Yep. Yeah.
So we're
Nepal
in
and-
Himalayas
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
all
Yeah.
that
So just a guide. We don't know how tall it is. A big trek.
It's. I mean, I know it's the tallest one in Africa.
Yeah, I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
I
As
want
am
to
I.
say, I know it's a big journey. My cousin's supposed to do it next September.
Really nice.
Yeah, she's taking a couple of her girlfriends down, and they're
Oh, that's
supposed to do
awesome.
it together.
Very
But
cool.
I should ask her more about that.
Oh, it's a volcano.
Yeah, it's a volcano
I did
too.
not know that.
I did know that.
Elevation is 19,341 feet.
We're taking a train.
Whoa.
We're taking a bus.
Take a bus to the top.
Jeez, that's a trek.
Oh man. So it's about 4,900 meters above its plateau base. So
I wonder how many base camps there are. Are there
Yeah,
base
right?
camps on there?
there have to be.
There has to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like 1, 2, or 3 base camps.
There
for
have,
certain people.
yeah, there must be. And there maybe like, maybe people don't usually summit when they go climb it. If it's because they have like races at Kilimanjaro, so I can't imagine that.
They could probably summit. Why not?
Yeah, people are crazy
A
here.
lot of people come right to the edge of those volcanoes and they look in. They're like, cool, and then go right back down.
Oh man.
So my
That's
cousin was
awesome.
telling me a story about that over in South America. She did that. So I'll have her on later, probably not until September. To be honest, because I want to talk to her about Kilimanjaro, like after
Yeah.
she goes.
Oh man.
But there's a lot to do in Tanzania, like Kilimanjaro, and then the Serengeti Great Migration, and then I feel like there's a lot of safari stuff to do, and then obviously your honeymoon island.
Yep.
All right, let's go on the topic of Kilimanjaro, but you beg in peaks. So you found this passion inadvertently in South Africa.
I did.
Kind of on accident. So tell me about this fitness journey of yours and the mountaineering journey, we'll say.
My pleasure.
Because you were 320?
Yeah, I'd say probably a 330 at my most, because I didn't actually weigh myself until I was like feeling like I was losing weight. And my first time I weighed myself was like 318. A couple weeks into it, I was 20.
You're 20.
20.
How old are you now?
I'm 31.
You're 31?
Yep.
I didn't know you were older than me. All right.
I'll take that.
I thought you were like my age. I thought you were 28.
Oh, well.
Perfect.
I'll take that.
There you go.
I act like a kid, so.
We all do. Until we're like 40. And it's always good to act like a kid anyway.
True that.
So, how did you lose this weight? Was it all dieting? Was it all hiking?
So, actually, I've been through 2 different weight loss journeys, basically. So, my first one, I lost my weight mostly by biking, and that was when I was 20. Was when I learned how to ride a bike, and I like started doing physical fitness stuff. And I got down to about 220, and I kept that weight for a while, for almost the whole time until I was 28. Really, I got up to like 240 maybe. In Zambia, towards the end of my service, especially, I was like, it felt like the end of my service was like a celebration all the time. And I would go and try to hang out with my volunteers at their sites, and my fellow volunteers at their sites, or like in cities. And we would like always celebrate and drink a lot. I just was not like taking care of myself that much. I didn't gain that much weight, thankfully, because you have to bike everywhere, walk everywhere.
Yeah.
But then it was in May of 2018 when I came back stateside. It started during my vacation before I came back, because I was like, I have $8,000. I'm going to buy everything I can and eat all the food because it's amazing. I've been eating nothing but village food for like 2 years. Right? And so, I got back to DC. I stayed there for about a month because my sister was getting married in Indiana, and my mom at the time was living in Washington. So I stayed here for about a month until my sister's wedding in Indiana, and then we drove to Indiana. My mom and her husband drove to Indiana as well, met up there, and I went back with them to Washington, where my truck was. Took my truck back home to Bozeman.
Okay.
So
here we are.
Here we are. 2 years later. 3? Whew, I'm getting old. I during my like readjustment period, not only it was hard adjusting to the third world, and it was just as hard readjusting to the first world. It was so weird. Like, I was used to being the only white person in like a sea of hundreds of people all the time, and then I got to the States and I was just like I felt out of place. Like, even being among like people of different cultures, like I felt it was weird. I had to get readjusted to like that scenery of just like seeing all these people, especially because I went to DC right off the bat. You know, going from a village with no power, no water, and just like, you know, a few dozen people I see all the time, to like back to everything. And this was, I don't know if you know hockey. I don't really know hockey that well.
So one sport I don't watch.
The Capitals won the Stanley Cup in 2018, and it was like a huge deal in DC. And I was like, I'm going to check out the Capitol today, and like the monuments and stuff. And then I'm just like a parade of people with the Capitals. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just getting overwhelmed right now. But yeah, it was great overall in retrospect. But yeah, it was definitely a lot at first. And so I was like doing what I could and like trying to find a job that like still had some money left over. And so I was like not really caring that much and just kind of like bumming around, honestly. And so I like food a lot. Always have.
Me
always
too.
will. And I got back stateside and I was like, oh, KFC has a chicken and waffle sandwich. I'm like, okay, I'll eat that. And like, oh, I could just like buy anything I want and just eat it all. Okay. And I like gained like 40 pounds, got up to like 280, and like knew I'd be able to get it off again. It was just kind of like giving myself like a weird cheat thing, but it like got out of hand. And then I finally got my current job, which I don't really want to share exactly what it is. They tell us not to. It's dumb. It's nothing cool.
They tell you not to?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's so I do work for like an agency. It's nothing cool. It's not like the CIA or anything like that. But anyway, I work closely with disabled people. It's just like a desk job, and as soon as I got this job, like it pays well, and it's like it is a career. It's not really gonna be my career, but it's
Yeah,
it's like a real job,
Right.
So I was like, all right, I've got this in order. Like I can check that box. Now I need to like work on myself. So my very first paycheck, I went and got gym shoes, headphones, and pre-workout and a gym membership. And I was like, well, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
And I just went to the gym, and like I had been in like maybe 2 gyms ever in my life that weren't like at a school.
Okay.
And so it was intimidating, but I was like, people do this, like I'll do it, whatever. So I roll up to Access Fitness here in Bozeman. Shout out.
Where you are right now?
Not where I am now, but
Okay.
that's where it all started. Again. So Access Fitness Bozeman. I just like got on the elliptical and I was like, all right, I'll just like
I can do this.
do this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a TV there. Okay. I was like, did that. What I would do is just 5 days a week, I would just go and use the elliptical for an hour and then go in the sauna.
Yeah.
And then like 2 or 3 weeks in, I've been like, watching what people do. Like, okay, like that guy's in good shape. Like, I'll just do what he's doing, right? And so I like grabbed some dumbbells. I'm like, I don't know what curls are. Like, I did these in high school. And I'm just like doing more and more things, and I'm just noticing more and more changes in my body that are positive. I'm like, okay, because I'm convinced that the reason I never really kept the weight off the first time was because I didn't love how I looked. Like, I was definitely losing weight, but I was starting to get to the point where I was like getting skinny, and like I'm not meant to be skinny. Like I felt like I was small and like not really looking like myself as much as I am used to. And so I was like, I was, happy, but not thrilled.
Okay.
And so now that these changes were coming, and like my arms were getting bigger, and like chest was getting bigger, stuff like that, and like my waist was shrinking, I was like, okay, like I'm into this. And so I did that for like a year straight, and I got better and better at it and learned all these different exercises. And like my buddy Chase Hoyer, shout out Chase, he is a personal trainer, and he was always willing to offer up tips and advice for whenever I had questions. Like, he's not my personal trainer, he's just a friend of mine who knows things. And so I was like grateful to be able to pick his brain.
For sure.
And so, I just like learned more and more. And Chase, he's been into hiking forever. He's from Libby, where I'm from. Cut, please. I need to pee. I don't know why I'm trying to hold it.
Go for it.
I know we have
Go for it. Take your time, my guy.
I'm like...
Ready?
Oh God! I guess I should ask what's the deal with that.
I don't know. I was cutting wood with it one day, and then I brought it in here because I was opening the box to this because it came in a box.
Right. Like a wooden box?
What?
A wooden box?
No. Yeah. No, it came in a cardboard box.
Okay.
But I just needed to cut the tape. But I was using it recently. I was like, I have this near me. I mean, it's been in here ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
And also, I'm really into Norse history, and I love
sick.
Scandinavia. I like the Vikings. So I'm gonna just hold this axe every time. It's like my prop now.
Nice.
It's just my little.
I like that.
It's like, don't get out of line. I shouldn't threaten people. Just kidding.
Let me ask you a question.
Love it. So yeah, it's just my thing, and hopefully somebody will give me There's one company, it's called Half Face Blades. You ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
And they make the coolest axes and the coolest knives, and I'm just like, I really want a half face blade axe on that.
Nice.
But they're $1,000 for an axe.
Oh, damn!
They better just like this. It's $1,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, well you'll get there.
Eventually. But they're custom made, really
Sick.
beautiful pieces. So
That's
one day for sure. Really about something.
Yeah, about Chase. Yeah, so
About Chase.
Thank you. We're back. So my friend Chase, who is a personal trainer, was willing to impart all kinds of knowledge on me, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And he also is very into hiking.
Oh yeah.
And he being from Libya, just like me, we have a connection. It's really weird. For some reason, Libya people, we're like a cult, except we don't have a leader. So we're not weird.
Okay.
But yeah, it's we have an incredible connection that runs deep. Like, if you are, especially if you're outside of Libya, like, you're gonna find each other.
Yeah.
And so it was last summer in May that Chase invited like 20 of us backpacking, and there were 16 of us who actually like all said yes. Nice. So we had a 16-person backpacking trip, which was the most amount of people that we could have in this area. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, when I talk about specific hikes, I might be a little vague, just to like respect the
secret spots, man.
Exactly.
I get that.
But yes, there were 16 of us, the most allowed in this area, that all went on this backpacking trip. It was 8 miles in and 8 miles back, and it honestly felt like tryouts. Like I had never been backpacking really before at all.
Mm-hmm. That's a big haul too.
Yeah, it is for your first one ever, and I had just bought everything right then. Like I had nothing. I had no sleeping bag, sleeping pad, bag, like nothing. Mm-hmm. I just went and bought it all because I was like, I'm stoked. Like I live here. I want to make the most of it. Yeah. Because growing up in Libya, I went on like a couple nature walks, things like that. Yeah. But I didn't go hiking. I just like thought mountains were for looking at. It never occurred to me people were like in and on them. Yeah. And it's like, it's not that I was being lazy. I just like it didn't occur to me.
Right, for sure.
And so I was like, I want to get into this. I'm gonna go all out, and the best way for me to get committed to something is to spend money on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I want to make it worth it. Mm-hmm. So I joined them on the West Boulder hike, and then the next weekend, Chase invited all the same people, and some people didn't have a great time, but I was like, yeah, I'll come. Mm-hmm. And the next weekend it was just me and Chase and his girlfriend, Erin, shout out, who is also a personal trainer. Okay. And 3 of us just went to this amazing area in the Beartooth Mountains, which are like jaw-droppingly amazing if you've been. And yeah, we camped there, and it was like, that was like a defining moment for me where I was like, yeah, like I could do this. Yeah, we did what was it, like 20 miles that weekend?
Jeez.
And
that's a lot.
Yeah, man. I finally had the confidence in me to like want to go hiking. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, if I can work out and do this stuff, like I can walk.
I go all the time.
I do go all the time.
On your stories, I'm like, oh, he's on again? He's on again? I'm like, it's like Tuesday.
Yeah, literally.
Like, you work?
Yeah, unfortunately.
But you have beautiful stories.
Well, thank you.
You take really good pictures and like put good filters on them. Like, they look really beautiful.
I appreciate that.
The close-ups of like the plants and like the whole scenic, everything. Like, keep doing what you're doing. I really love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I think everyone loves your content. So I'm gonna thank you in this podcast, by the way. Obviously, that's okay.
I would love that. Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah. So and then it was right after that trip that I actually got a girlfriend, like a serious girlfriend, that ended up being a very interesting, rocky relationship, but definitely a great learning experience.
So she's going.
Yes.
Okay.
But that was interesting because I was discovering a passion of mine while discovering a different passion of mine, I guess, you know?
What's the other passion?
I mean, one was the girl and one was the, it was definitely, it felt like love at the time for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say it was.
For sure.
Thankfully I grew out of it. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. No regrets. I don't know. I don't want to say mean things about anyone. So, it was a very interesting time in my life because I was like discovering, I was kind of like pushing me in different directions, and like she would sometimes join me on hikes, but not for the most extreme ones. And I was like, well, like, I'm sorry, it's just not really like, we're not seeing eye to eye on everything. But I just like kept falling more in love with hiking. I just kept pushing myself to the extreme, and my friends would help push me to the extreme as well. My other friend Levi, shout out. And I gotta just throw Nick in there. Nick, shout out to you too. So yeah, Levi was with me for my first Montana summit. I feel comfortable saying some places because they're more common. So Blackmore Peak in Highlight.
That is not a secret.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. A beautiful place. That was my first Montana summit, and that's That's a heck of a hike. That's like
that's a big haul too.
Like 11 or 12 miles with 4,000 feet gain. Like that was a big one for sure. And when I did that, like it was a real confidence booster for me for sure. I was like, I got on top of this mountain, dude. Like I'm gonna do this all the time, and I have not stopped. Last year was my very first real hiking year, and I hiked 400 miles. And I wish I would have tallied it before this podcast. I forgot I was going to, but I'm sure I'm at least 500 by now. For this year. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just like so obsessed. My most recent epic trip. What? Do you have a question or something before I keep talking?
Go for it. Sweet. I got questions for days, but I love how you just go.
Yeah, I'm a talker of sorts.
Notice that. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt you. You're just doing so well. I can go on questions for days. Okay, sweet. For real. Like I could be asking so many things, but I just love how you just go, and I'm like, all right, like I don't have to do any editing. Right.
Everything I say reminds me of something else, and I'll just keep going, right? So, we got my most recent epic trip was to Canyonlands National Park with.
Oh yeah, you just said that.
I sure did. Okay, yeah. I got it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was me. So my friend Jada, shout out Jada. Look at all you guys.
I saw her on your gram, by the way.
Yeah,
I might need to talk to her. She seems like she's been.
Dude, she would love to do this podcast. Oh my god!
If you can like get an interview with her, that'd be really.
Oh cool. Yeah, I'll literally. I can text her right now. She'll be like, yeah, sure, I'm down. Trust me, she's like just as crazy as I am. Loves talking just as much. Very energetic. Yeah, she is rad.
Cool.
So yeah, my friend Jada, she texted me and said, hey, like, do you want to go to Canyonlands and do some backpacking? And I was like, that sounds awesome because this year in 2021, I went to Utah twice before, and I've gotten to see, up until that point, I'd gotten to see Zion, Arches, Capitol Reef, and Bryce Canyon.
Yeah, I'm still listening, by the way.
Which are 4 of the main 5.
Dude, hold on.
We're good?
No.
Oh no.
We're good again. So good.
Meant to be, yes. Yes.
All right. So right where we left off, we didn't miss anything, which is great. Go for it.
So my friend Jada invited me to Canyonlands to go backpacking with her, which was amazing for me because I had seen Zion, Arches, Capitol Reef, and Bryce Canyon, which there are. Yep, exactly. But I had not seen Canyonlands. And so she said, do you want to go backpacking Canyonlands? I said, hell yes, I do. I would love that so much. And what I didn't realize till after I said yes was that it was really special of her to invite me because she had never been backpacking with anyone else before.
Really?
So Jada, she's a guide, like a tour guide at Yellowstone.
Sky? Okay,
Yellowstone. And for a company, Big Sky. And she has a weird work schedule, and so she like never has weekends off and doesn't have good breaks or anything like that. So she's only ever been backpacking alone, but she's been on huge backpacking trips, like 100 miles and things like that.
Wow.
But only ever alone. And so I was really flattered that she would ask me to go to her very first non-solo backpacking trip. And she didn't tell me that until after I said, hey, is it cool if my friends Nick and Alicia come? Shout out Alicia.
Did you shout out Nick?
I did earlier. I said, I gotta say Nick too.
Okay, perfect.
Double shout out for Nick.
Okay.
K-Man Kid. I asked if Nick and Alicia could come along, and she said, yeah, that'd be awesome. That sounds great, because she knows them too, and yeah, we're all tight. So, it was, I think it was, 2 weeks ago. It was like a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon where we had all worked all day, and then like I'd finished packing, and then after work at 7 p.m. we drove 10 hours through the night to Utah so that we could.
Far. Yeah, you're in these 10-hour drives.
We go ham. I'm desensitized by now. Like, after my time over there, I'll take a comfortable 10-hour ride over a 14-hour bumpy ass ride.
Yeah, that's true.
We get there, and we're arriving in Moab, which is close to Arches, which is close to Canyonlands, and we're like, okay, let's take like a 3-hour nap or something, and then we'll start our 40-mile backpacking trip.
Yeah.
And then the sun starts coming up, and we're driving, and we see, it's called Wilson Arch, just on the side of the highway, and the sun's coming up, we're like, guys, we have to catch sunrise inside of that arch. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get out and park and then catch a sunrise. And we are just so immediately stoked for our trip. Like, we're like, we don't need sleep. Let's go. And then so we just drive to the trailhead and just like grab our bags. Like,
jeez,
we all took like a
Dayquil and a Red Bull.
Not even this time. No, I don't even think. I had like a coffee, I think. We just were like so stoked on where we were, on like the fact that we made it all through the night. Oh, it was so amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's we just get out, put on our packs, meet this really weird volunteer who worked there, who was like his third day, and he was like really into Jada. I don't know, it was odd. But anyway,
all right.
So we start off at the trail, and we are just like, well, we don't exactly know what to expect, because none of us, we intentionally did not look up pictures of this place. We just like knew the route we were taking and wanted to be surprised.
Yeah.
And like, it was so cool right off the bat. And then we make it like 8 to 10 miles to our first camp for the night. And like, right then is when it starts getting amazing. And we're like, this is going to be really good next day.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, we just mob. And we get up to this ladder in the middle of the desert, and we get to these canyons that we have to walk through with our packs that are like too skinny to even fit through. We gotta like wiggle on through. Yeah, dude, it was so insane. So I'll show you some pictures. So we got, this was first of all Wilson Arch, where we caught that sunrise that I was telling you about.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think I saw that on your story.
Yep, you sure did.
Yeah.
I like to tease on my stories and then go all out with the posts. But I want to show you this canyon that we had to squeeze through after our first day. It was right here. This was like the first like transition to like the really, really cool stuff. It was so narrow, so awesome. And I'm not even, I'll show you one more picture, but the rest you got to follow me for.
Yeah, so you should be showing all these people.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving off.
Can't give everything away right away.
Literally.
A little mystery.
Exactly. But just like sweeping, endless, amazing canyons.
Yeah, that's worth a follow.
What are you doing? You guys don't know.
I know.
Man, too
There's, look how many more I got.
Jealous. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got a lot more.
That's true. Still better follow them.
That's right. So, yeah, we're the second day. So if we did 8 miles the first day, we must have done, like 15 the next 2 days, I guess. Because, the next day, so what we did was we did like a full loop, like around this district called the Needles District in the park. And so you go from camp down, and then we dropped our packs here and went on a 5-mile detour down this way. And then we were supposed to go back this way a little bit and then do a loop like this, but we didn't go back. We just did a loop like this. So we ended up doing an extra like 5-mile loop afterwards. And it was like, we had sat down and had like a little snack break right before we thought we were about to get to camp. And then we got to a camp and we looked on the map and realized that we went the wrong way, and realized we had another like 3 miles ahead of us of like steep uphill that we ended up totally screwing ourselves on, and we're like, oh boy. But that is all part of it, dude. Like,
that is part of it, though.
It totally is. Like, you have to expect the unexpected and embrace it when it happens.
But they make for the best memories, though.
Absolutely.
They really do. Like, all those like flat tires, whatever happens, like those unexpected people, they make for the best memories, and it shapes you more than anything.
Totally.
The best things happen when they're not planned. But then again, you make a lot of bad plans, it sounds like. Missing the ferry, missing the buses.
I am a terrible planner.
Okay.
But I'm great at making the most of it.
That's important, though. As long as you can have someone with a good mindset that can accept it and like still enjoy whatever does come your way. And that's what matters.
It's also useful when I have friends who are planners. So like when we need planning, like I leave it to them.
You're all about the serendipity, man.
Too much so, my friend.
That's a good thing, though. Serendipity is where it's at.
It is. It is.
Serendipity.
It depends who you're asking. I think it's a great thing.
I think it is.
My friend Levi is very type A, And sometimes I startle him with how much I am a not planner, but that's okay.
That's all right. You know your audience for sure.
Precisely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's good to have a mix though. Like some days, like we're doing this, like I want to so bad. Some days it's like, universe, just guide me wherever you want to go. Just take me there. Exactly. And we're just gonna go for it and see what happens.
Totally.
Those are the best things. Like, oh my god.
We just knew that where we were starting was where we were ending.
Yeah.
And we were gonna do some cool stuff in between.
I love that though. So I think serendipity is very important when you travel. And just kind of going for it, not knowing what you're doing. Depending where you're at, actually.
True.
Depending where you're at. Like sometimes you can be super aware, super safe, and like be aware of the bus schedules or the train schedules. Like you can miss a train and be there for a day or two without a train, and you're just screwed.
True that.
So I'd say in Europe you're pretty safe.
Sure.
In America you're pretty safe. Maybe Canada too. But like probably a lot of places in Africa you're super aware.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so many restrictions on everything.
Especially now.
Yep,
probably.
exactly. I'm sure now. I haven't even thought about that. I can't imagine those trains with a mask on. Oof. Yeah, Canyonlands was incredible. So was my other Utah trip. I went with my other friends, Chaz and Maddie, shout out. We had 4 or 5 days planned. And when I say planned, we just knew what trails we were doing. And I just looked them up on the map to see what route we would take. Yeah. Because I knew we'd need a car. And so we didn't want to drive. We didn't want to fly there and like rent a car because it was way too expensive. Yeah. And we looked up flights there in Illinois, like near Chicago. They would try to fly out, and they would have cost like $800 each for a ticket. Yeah. So we weren't going to do that. And then I looked up to Denver for some reason. It's like half the price. And I was like, if you guys fly to Denver, I'll drive to Denver and pick you up. And so
it's a long drive.
That is a very long drive, especially because I didn't get to start that drive until 4 p.m. from West Yellowstone because I had a date where we went and stayed in a Forest Service cabin in West Yellowstone the day before. And then we went to the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center. And then so it was at 4:30 that I left. Got to Denver at 3 a.m. They flew in at 8 a.m. I went and picked them up. And then we drove to Grand Junction, Colorado, went on a sick hike there in the Colorado National Monument. And the very next day, we spent all morning driving and all afternoon and evening hiking every day. We did like 50 miles, like 10 miles a day, just like crushing it through all these different crazy hikes in Utah. And it's like just so amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it. And I have very similar stories about my trips in Washington and Oregon. Like planning my last trip to Oregon 2 days before I left, my friend Brandon was like, I was like, yeah, did you guys stay with me? No problem. I actually have this weekend off. I'm like, sick. I'm going to buy a ticket right now. So like, I'm very spur of the moment and I love adventure and I'm always on one. And I also wanted to give a shout out to a couple other places. One is going to be Prime Physio and Performance, where I work out now. They are in Four Quarters, run by Billy McClanahan, who is the man who has like taught me so much. I first went to Prime because that's where Chase used to be a personal trainer at. And they do physical therapy there as well. And I hurt myself, as I tend to sometimes. And poor lifting form. I really messed up my shoulder.
And happens a lot of people.
It does, but nothing that's like permanent. So I went there for physical therapy, and he taught me how to do deadlifts, how to do squats, how to do bench, and how to do it all properly, and how to like really build myself. And like he wrote me programs. He is the man, and I still go there, and I'll probably never stop. They're going to open up a new location next year, which is going to be amazing. Where at? It's still on. I don't know where exactly. It's on Jackrabbit, I know for sure. I think they're going to stick to more of that part of town just because there's not much over there.
There's really not. Do you live over there?
No, I live actually really close to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I live over by like the new middle school. Or high school. Sorry, new high school.
I was like,
sorry.
Middle school.
No, my bad.
That old one right next to me?
No, yeah, the Gallatin High School. So I live over there, and but I could live in like Three Forks now. We go to Prime. I love it so much.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And then the other place I want to give a shout out is Pickle Barrel.
Pickle Barrel.
So
I see that in your bio. Tell me about this.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. So it actually happened during that Utah trip with Chaz and Maddie that I was saying, that first one we drove around a ton. And the whole time we were just like, joking about like how badass we are. And, like, yeah, we're sponsored. Yeah, we do this. Yeah, we do this stuff. It's whatever. And like we're like eating gummies. We're like, yeah, Haribo sponsor. We're like going to the gas station. Exxon. Like everything we're saying is a sponsor. And then we were like joking about it. Where I was like, people like really do get sponsored for this kind of stuff. Like, maybe we should. Yeah. And so interestingly, I had actually won a hat from Pickle Barrel in a giveaway on Facebook. Yeah. Along with a whole bunch of other things, including 2 passes to every ski resort in Montana, which was really sick. Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of things I can talk about. But anyway, so I had this hat, and I brought it to the trip with us, and I was like, all right, I'm going to wear this hat today on Observation Point, which is this sick mountain overlooking all of Zion National Park. A lot of Zion National Park. Yeah. Way higher up than Angel's Landing, which I have done as well and is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But we're on Observation Point. It was sunset. And I was like, Chaz, I need you to take a really cool picture of me right now with this view behind me. And I'm going to shout out Pickle Barrel and tell them to sponsor me. And ask them. Just kidding. Ask them. I'll show you the picture.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've seen it. Weren't you holding something?
No, I'm just like doing this.
Okay.
It's my Instagram profile picture. It is right here.
If it's your profile pic, I think I remember which one.
This one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This one. So if you look, it's a Pickle Barrel hat, and so
I didn't notice that,
right?
Actually, yeah.
So I'm wearing my hat, and I posted it on my birthday, on my 31st birthday. That was this year. Wow. Yeah. A lot has happened this year. Yeah, so I posted that this year on my birthday, and I said like, yada yada, it's my birthday. P.S. No, I'm not sponsored by @Pickle Barrel Bozeman ... yet. And then they commented and they said, happy birthday, and I said, thanks, I'll keep my eyes peeled for that sponsorship deal. And then they said, shoot us your email, let's talk. And so I gave them my email. They responded like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, this is me. I just posted that picture. I'm looking for a sponsorship. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? And they're like, hey, well, we're actually really interested. So how about we give you this deal? And I don't want to tell you exactly what my deal is, but I get a great deal from Pickle Barrel. And what they asked me to do, honestly, they don't really ask me to do anything. They just trust me. They know that I just go to some really cool places, and they say that I'm able to bring a sandwich with me. And I should bring it and take pictures and post it to my Instagram 3 times a month, and that's what I do.
You could have brought me a sandwich tonight.
Dude, you're not joking. I literally...
I brought you a stew, and you could have brought me a freaking sandwich. I'm starving in here. I'm so hungry. I'm on the verge of death. I'm ready to faint.
He's about to use his axe on me.
You're sponsored by Pickle Barrel, and you didn't bring me your sponsored food.
I owe you one. How about that?
It's okay.
I had to work today. I had to work overtime because I'm going to DC actually on Wednesday.
Oh, dang.
And I had to take care of some stuff for work.
No problem. Give me a shit.
Because I literally was thinking that. I was like, it's so sick for Pickle Barrel sandwich.
It would have been good though. This would have been the perfect opportunity.
I'll bring you one. That'd be more. Hey, you want to go hiking sometime?
Oh, for sure.
That's a better opportunity.
No, for sure. I'm more of a summer hiker. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Fair. I don't blame you.
Dude, I was on yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, dude, winter views, man. Winter views in the mountains are so pretty. Because summer's cool, but there is no smoke in the winter.
That's true.
It is clear.
Sometimes like a winter wonderland where it's like untouched trails. You're just going through the trees.
Yeah, totally.
I like kicking trees and the snow falls off. It's beautiful. Dude.
Especially when the sun's shining, you see the little rainbows going through the crystals. Like I just got done posting about my. It took like a week to tell the story, but the sunrise at Highlight Peak. Did you see those posts this week? Like
I think
they were it was just like spectacular. Like
I saw that.
Yeah, dude, it is. Oh man. Winter hiking.
I was wondering where you were at Highlight too.
Highlight Peak.
Just like I thought you were like some other places up Highlight too.
Oh yeah, Blackmore, Emerald Lake, Heather Lake.
Like recently.
I've been going to Highlight a lot recently. Honestly,
the roads are terrible up there.
It's true, and I drive a Honda Civic. And
you drive a Honda Civic?
What are you doing
driving up there,
dude? I'm so far so good, man. I've never popped a tire, like never messed up my suspension. Like I am very shout out to Honda, honestly. Like those guys crush it. like have taken that car so many places I should not have, and it's doing good.
Really?
Yeah, I
remember
remember
it's so icy up there though. You have snow tires?
Yeah, even if I send it, dude. It's worse in the summer. Those like if you're going to Heather and Emerald Lakes, the road to that trail is like.
Really? Oh my goodness! I've never been to Emerald Lake.
Oh man, you gotta. I'll take you.
For sure. No, I'm definitely down.
Oh man, yeah, dude.
Summer's gonna be super busy. Oh my goodness.
And then, yeah, like basically now I'm just on the warpath to like self-improvement. And then frankly, ideally, I would love to be able to quit my day job. It may not be like the best idea as far as like a retirement plan is concerned, but I mean, if I have enough fun now at my age, then I won't need to have fun when I retire.
No, you trust me, you will.
I know.
So what's your goal? Like, what's your goal to quit the day job? To incorporate fitness, do hiking, and the day job? Or quit the day job? Yeah, ideally, I would love to be fully sponsored, if I could, to where some bigger company is like, here, go here and do this. Right. And I don't really care that much even about making profit. Like, as long as they allow me to, like, survive, I'm totally chill with that. I want, like, a year of just, like, straight up adventuring with no budget, just, like, being able to go do anything. Like, if there is someone out there who wants to send someone somewhere that they want to go and they can't go there, I'll do it. So that is my goal. To for sure adventure professionally. Same. That's like my goal with this too. Yeah, man. It's like adventure professionally and like go tour around and like just like a combination of like going to cities, going to Kilimanjaro, just doing like extremes and chill and just going everywhere, exploring everywhere. Same. So it's like definitely need a lot of sponsorships, but it's also I want to make my own revenue streams too. Yeah. So I'm not 100% reliant on sponsorships because they are important. Sure. I think they can definitely help your revenue streams, but I think everyone should have 4 to 6 revenue streams at least. Agreed. So I think you should look into making some sort of product or some sort of something to sell along the way on a Shopify store. I do have canvas prints currently that I don't sell, but if I ever have somebody to give a gift to, it's going to be a canvas print. Yeah. Because it's such a one-of-a-kind gift. Like, no one else can get them a picture that I have taken. And that's what's so special. It's one of those canvas prints. Yep. I mean, like something like that, where you like made a print out of it. Well, what is that? Oh, it's a painting. Well, so a print of a photo of mine. Right. Like a print of a photo. Yes. Right. Yeah, I was thinking like a... Sorry, no. Yeah. I'm not... I thought it was like an art print. I am artistic in my photography, but that's about the extent. Okay. But that's still really cool too. Thank you. I mean, one day perhaps I'll open like an actual print shop, and I might get a real camera. The only thing is that I usually wear a running vest when I hike, the blue one that I'm always wearing in my pictures, and like I can just stick this right here. I can't do that with a camera. So one of my biggest things is I try to specifically use a phone camera. Yeah. And that's why I record the podcast on a phone camera to show people you can like just use your phone. Oh, totally. Like you can like make a business out of your phone camera or like your phone. And like you can record a podcast on your phone. Like I was just watching this last night with Zach and some friends, and we're like, that quality is amazing on this podcast. We're like, he couldn't believe it. Yeah. He was so shocked. But it's like I want to show people they can take crazy good photos just on their phone. Heck yeah. And like go adventure. Like you don't need this huge setup, this huge camera to lug around, and like your iPhone or whatever phone you use does great if you know how to use it. So that's why I just record on this. Like it works great. And that's a very important message that like I firmly believe that anyone can do anything. Like people look at my Instagram and like they're like, wow, look at this guy, like he goes on like these crazy trips up mountains and stuff. Like I am just a dude. Like I am just some dude who like used to be fat and like still definitely have some weight to lose, don't get me wrong, but I think you're perfectly I appreciate you. Exactly where you need to be. All self-love. You need more, like everyone needs to practice more self-love. That's a great point. Yes, I'm very proud of how far I've come, and it's too easy to pick apart the things that still I need to improve on. Don't pick apart. You're right. I think what you like consume, like what you intake, what you consume is what you become. True. So like if you have that positive affirmation for yourself, positive support from your friend group, you're going to be happy with yourself,
Yeah.
and your body will react that way.
That's a good point.
So it's like, if you're like, oh, I'm too skinny, oh, I'm too this, I'm too that, like you think, like your mind thinks that.
Totally.
So like your subconscious mind thinks that too.
Absolutely.
So it's like, just like compare yourself to like, listen, I've come a long way, I have a little work to go, but I'm so happy with who I've become.
Exactly.
And it's like, I'm going to like maintain this and like try to be better.
I want to show you 2 side-by-sides.
Okay, I've never seen these, so
so here's one. It's like, that's like day 1 of this current weight loss journey.
Yeah.
And this is like a month or 2 ago.
Dang, dude. You do not look 320 in that photo, though.
I was not. This was when I was like 270, 280.
Okay.
What is this? This is now at like 220, 215, I think is what I weighed at. 210, 215, depends on the day.
Yeah. You look good, though, dude.
Thanks, dude. And
solid.
then this is... That's 320.
Okay.
Or like maybe 300 or
What's
so at that point.
Like right now?
This is also like a month or 2 ago.
Dude, that is so impressive.
Thanks, man. I
So
appreciate you.
impressive. I'm so proud of that.
Here's the
My goodness.
drastic one. Yeah, that's me at 20 years old on that side, which is not something that 20-year-olds should look like, but hey, it's never too late.
It's never too late. No, absolutely not. And I think it's like one step at a time, too.
Totally, yeah.
One thing you mentioned earlier is like you were losing weight, but you kind of weren't happy with like being skinny. But then you started lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I think how you do it is very important too. Like,
Definitely.
don't just go drink the lemon water, the hot lemon water.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, you also need to like build some muscle too.
Yeah, man,
To like
exactly.
shape in a different direction. Like, you're a sculpture. Like, shape your sculpture.
Precisely.
It's like you can like target certain muscles and like eat certain foods to like look the way you want to look. You really can. So I think people like need to know you have to do a little effort. You can't just do the lemon water technique.
Yep.
So, but I love that message of like where you were and who you become, and like you're always like trying to be better. And like I think you should make some sort of like catchphrase, tagline, analogy of like summiting mountains, and like that should be like your mantra for sure.
I
Something
think
like
of it.
that.
I can't think of it right now on the spot.
No, don't
but
do it
I
on the
will.
spot. Like, that's something for you to like marinate on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like your tagline, like your phrase of like summiting a mountain, like with your journey, I think it's like very specific to you.
Nice.
It's just like a passion of climbing all those mountains, all that mountaineering, and like that mountain of fitness journey and the weight loss that you got over. So that's
I need
something
a
for you to
slogan
think about.
is what I
You
need.
do need
Yeah.
a slogan. You need a slogan. Like make a
Nice.
brand, man.
I will.
What's your brand gonna be? Canvas Prince. Canvas Prince, and then your slogan.
Yeah.
We're just making you a business over here.
I know. I've got all the elements. I need to figure out how to do it now.
That's a big thing. A lot of people need to figure out how to do it. That's like a big part of the podcast too. So it's not only just travel stories. It's like I want to show people how to navigate through life.
Yeah.
Because everyone struggles. Like so many people in our 20s, we're struggling to figure out who we are, what we want. Like we just want to break out. But it's like we don't know what revenue streams to build. We don't know what businesses to build. We don't know what friends to have. We don't know where to start. And we just like are looking for tips from everywhere and everyone.
Right.
And we kind of need to laser focus a little bit.
And we don't even know what the world is going to look like in a week.
Yeah, you know, I know what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look like whatever you want it to look like.
Good attitude.
Yeah.
Good attitude. Yeah,
It's
life
whatever you
is
want.
what you make it.
The grass is green where you water it, and that's very important. Like,
Good point.
so if you want green grass, like, don't think it's on the other side. Water it where you're at. Be happy with yourself. Like, we have a lot to be thankful for, and even if you're not exactly there yet, you still have a lot to be thankful for. Recognize it. And then make one step at a time to go to that greener grass. One step at a time, one little watering thing at a time. Like even building this podcast, I'm like, all right, like I got lights today, perfect.
Nice.
One step, I'm like, I got a table today, perfect. And the chairs today. And eventually it's here, now we're talking. And like, it feels really good, but one step at a time is like one of my biggest things.
Yeah.
Like one step at a time, 1% better every day. And you wouldn't believe how much that accumulates over the years. Oh,
I
my
would
God.
now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
would now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I am stuck on the path of improvement now and happy about it.
No, I think a lot of people are though. I think that's a really good place to be.
Yeah.
So no, I think everyone is like in their 20s is stuck on the path of improvement.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people criticize themselves way too much.
Agreed.
Because like I went through a lot of criticism. I'm like, I'm too skinny. Like everyone is like, you know, like mine was like I was too skinny. When I came to Bozeman, I was 180. And I was like so self-conscious because I just got back from traveling for a couple of years.
Sure.
Didn't have a lot of money, wasn't working out then because I didn't have a place to work out abroad. and I wasn't eating very good because you're on a budget.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got 2 meals a day. I better like make the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back. I think it was like 178 actually. I was like, I'm 6'4.5". Like that's way too skinny for me. I'm like, oh my god, is this embarrassing? And then like I wanted to show people I was still like ripped, so I'd like wear like medium shirts. I'm like, this is not healthy. So like when I came to Bozeman, I told myself I will spare no expense for food. Like no matter what I want to eat, I'm gonna eat it because nourishment is so important to grow. And like it helps my energy, it helps my confidence, it helps everything. So like I need to make a good relationship with food. And like even now it's still kind of hard. Like right now I'm 198 and I'm trying to get to 215. That's my goal. So I want to be 215. I feel like that's a healthy weight where I'm the most confident at, the most comfortable with, and that's where I want to be. So, but I've come from like 178 to 198, so it's a 20 pound increase.
Yeah, that's huge. Nice job, man.
But it's like to actually maintain it, because I could literally go to sleep and lose 3 pounds. I'm not joking. It's so bad. I'm like, oh man, this is miserable. And it takes a while to get it back. Yeah. Because if I don't follow a certain regimen every single day, I'll lose weight. I think this is so stupid.
That's also important to remember is that you shouldn't compare yourself to others really at all, frankly, because we all have our own different struggles. Like, yeah, you can go to sleep and lose 3 pounds. I can go to sleep and gain 3 pounds. Like,
right, yeah.
And we have to learn how to use that to our advantage, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I'm not meant to be skinny, I should realize that and be like, oh, maybe I should be huge in a good way.
Right. Yeah.
Because, if your body doesn't want to be small, don't force it.
Right.
You're not going to be happy.
For sure. It's like when you with hiking though, you can just power out those mountains. I'm like, oh, I get jealous, dude. I'm like, I wish I could power out those mountains, but I've done a lot of hiking and hunting and all this stuff in the past. But when I do power out those huge mountains, no joke, the next day 5 pounds gone at least.
Dang.
I'm just sitting there like, that's gonna take me 2 weeks to get back. And I have to think about that. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go take this day. I'm gonna go summit this peak, and it's gonna be beautiful and amazing. I'm gonna have a great time. But it's gonna take me at least a week or two to get that weight back without like any more hiking in between. So I have to plan out for that stuff. So
bring yourself a pickle barrel sandwich. Get that protein, man.
Even still, even when I pound the calories on there,
really,
I still burn. Like, trust me, like I still bring like bags of jerky and just like so much stuff. Man, like my backpack is just food. Pistol and food.
That's awesome.
Still, I'm like, all right, I gotta like accumulate.
Wow.
And like think about what do I need to bring, or like how do I recover from this too? Because I'm on this journey to gain. So it's a good balance of learning what balances I need to do. But I think the biggest focus for me right now is just like building the bank account, building the brand. So I have to put a lot of like hobbies on the side. Like I can't go hike like I used to, or adventure like I used to, just because like I work 7 days a week now. It's ridiculous. Like 5 days a week, the main job, to pay all the bills, pay for all this stuff, and then like the after 6 to 9 or Saturday, Sunday to like build the podcast, write the book, build the other brand, like open the store, and it's a grind, dude. Yeah, like, that's to build the empire, to like make the dreams happen.
There you go.
And it's a grind, so I've really had to like cut out a lot of weekend things. A lot of people are like, let's go hang out. I'm like, I want to, but I can't right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, catch me in a year. Like I'll see you next year.
Yeah, that's where the drive comes in handy. That's like so admirable of you.
Thank you.
I think it's perhaps because I'm comfortable with my job, the fact that I am getting paid. I don't feel the pressure to put as much into my, adventuring goals as far as getting paid for them.
Right.
And I'm the kind of guy, it's hard for me to become motivated until I'm almost forced to, which is why I'm honestly so impressed about my fitness, because I, for some reason, although I was incredibly overweight, like my whole life, I've never had any health issues with it. I just decided that I wanted to be fit. So that was great. So, I mean, I suppose one day when I decide that I want to be incredibly successful with whatever my adventuring leads to, I'll do it. But it's hard for me. I'm a very in the moment person, and I tend not to plan too much, which can be a downfall, I suppose. Yeah. But I'm things have worked out for me before. I'm hoping they will continue to do so. And worst case, I'm having a lot of fun sharing my stories.
Yeah, dude. No, I think it's like everything happens exactly as it is supposed to happen. For sure. It's just like, I'm a big proponent of like surrendering to the universe. For sure. And like believing in the process. Like, I thought so many things were going to happen before I am right now, like where I'm at right now. But like, if they would have happened, I see that I wasn't ready for them. I was like, I thought I'd be more successful earlier, but I see now that I wasn't ready for that to happen until like when it's gonna happen. Like I still see it's gonna happen for sure. I see the path and I see myself going closer. But if that would happen at 24, 25, it wouldn't have become nearly as beautiful as it's gonna be, you know? So, and I talked a lot about that with Zach too. Turned down a lot of 6-figure jobs in the past. Turned down a lot of opportunities just because I want to do my own opportunity, like make my own route, and like creating your own path is sometimes way more important than following somebody else's. And you should make that on your tagline too. Following your own path is way more important than somebody else's. So like your own trailhead or like your own summit. Oh man, we could do so many things. We're have to play chess and just think about slogans.
I'm into that. Should we go eat some stew and think about chess?
Let's do it. Oh, do we even have a thing to cheers?
Oh, shoot. I'm too thirsty over
We
here.
got this thirsty guy out here.
Too busy blabbering.
I'll do a half pour because we got some kombucha.
All right.
Let's do cheers to serendipity. Cheers to finding your island.
I'm into that, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know why I sip it. It's a sippy cup.
Can't cheers just like that.
Ridiculous.
Oh, man.